importing as well as exporting. In absolute terms, I think that will hardly be felt in terms of the prices that consumers are paying.
Doctors in Scotland say hospitals there could struggle to deal with a rise in infections triggered by the relaxation of restrictions over Christmas. The Scottish Academy of Medical Royal Colleges and Faculties says it could take months for vaccinations to improve the situation. The Scottish Government says it's working to boost NHS capacity. A 15-year-old boy is in a critical condition with serious head injuries after he was hit by a police car in Stockport. Officers from the Greater Manchester Force were responding to a domestic disturbance last night. The EU has begun its coordinated coronavirus vaccine rollout. It's been delivered to 27 countries in the bloc. The EU has so far reported more than 335,000 COVID-related deaths. Large parts of the UK have been hit by heavy rain and strong winds with the arrival of Storm Bella. Some rail services are disrupted. On the Isle of Wight, gusts reached 106 miles an hour. Dozens of flood warnings remain in force. And the former US wrestler John Huber, known as Brody Lee or Luke Harper, has died at the age of 41. His wife said it was due to a non-COVID related lung issue.
Drama on BBC One.
This is an unusual place and we should expect unusual things.
An order of British nuns attempts to set up a school in a remote Himalayan palace.
I know I can make a success of the new convent.
Shouldn't have come here, you know. It's an impossible place for a nunnery.
Unaware of its dark past.
I don't know what's happening to me. This place makes you see.
Black Narcissus.
The devil is in you, sister.
Starts tonight at 9 on BBC One and iPlayer.
More live Premier League football than anyone else.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday.
And if you'd like to have your say on anything you've heard or anything that's to come, text 85058, Twitter, it's at 5 Live Sport. You can listen via the BBC Sounds app or iPlayer. And don't forget this evening to watch the action. Match of the Day 2 from 10:30 as we bring your we've all had a very different Christmas week to a close. And then at 9 o'clock here on 5 Live, you can have your say with Robbie and Chris on 606. But next up on 5 Live Premier League Sunday, it's the champions and league leaders Liverpool who take on relegation-threatened West Brom, and we're going to be at Anfield in just a moment. But much of the focus ahead of this match has been on Mo Salah's future at Liverpool, who is back in the starting lineup today. Now, he gave an interview, doesn't give a lot of interviews, with a Spanish newspaper and said, "I think Madrid and Barcelona are two top clubs. Who knows what will happen in the future? But right now, I'm focused on winning the Premier League and Champions League with Liverpool again." Salah also said he was disappointed that he didn't get the captain's armband in their recent Champions League match. This is his manager, Jurgen Klopp's response.
We all could look for something else if we want, but I think the only reason to leave Liverpool in the moment is then really the weather. What other reason could be there? This is one of the biggest clubs in the world. We pay good money. Maybe not the most in the world, but we pay good, and we have a sensational stadium with outstanding supporters. We have a fan base all over the world, so our colors are red, which is the nicest color anyway. But you cannot force people to stay. We make changes and bring players in. If a player wants to go, then we cannot probably not hold him back. It's just about wouldn't understand why somebody would want to go. And when Mo answered the question, it was that these clubs might be interested, and he didn't rule out that imagine. If you ask any player in the world who's not playing for Barcelona and Real Madrid, and then you ask him, can you imagine to play for these one day? And he would say, no, not for them, really Spanish and the big ones in Spain. Why should he say that? The only thing is that we will see. We will see. It's really all fine. You obviously have not a lot to talk about, and that's why we make of one interview a really long story, which is completely fine, but that doesn't make it more important to me in the moment. Mo is a very important player for me, obviously, but the story around isn't.
Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp. Now, Conor McNamara and Pat Nevin are your commentary team who are huddled around their heater at Anfield. Now, there might be some worried Liverpool fans out there following the rarely quoted Salah. He doesn't really give interviews to newspapers and magazines. Suddenly giving an interview to a Spanish newspaper praising Barcelona and Madrid and saying, who knows what will happen? It's been, Pat, interpreted as Salah flirting with the Spanish clubs. How do you read it?
Well, that doesn't sound like Mo Salah to me, the way he generally behaves. Yeah? It's one of those ones that sounds like a 2 + 2 = 17, taking much more out of it than was implied by the player himself. And if any of us players at any level have ever talked to journalists in certain situations, you can talk for an hour and then a couple of lines are taken out of context. It honestly does strike me a little bit like that. However, it's a story that because he didn't outright deny a possibility it might happen in the future, then people will run with it. I think it's highly, highly unlikely, certainly in the short term. In the long term, who knows? We watched Eden Hazard made the same move, and by the way, that didn't go very well, did it, Mo? So be careful, even if you are wishing for it.
Yeah, I think listening to that, Gigi, I think Liverpool fans, far more than the Mo Salah comments, I think they should be worried that Jurgen Klopp is basically saying he hates the weather in Liverpool so much he's going to leave. I mean, that's the headline that slipped through the cracks here. Look, it doesn't matter what player you are, what your stature is, how big the club. I mean, Ronaldo left Manchester United for Real Madrid. All the best players have played for one of those two clubs, be it Maradona, Messi, Zidane, Cruyff, Ronaldo. I mean, whoever. You name a world-class player who we all think is one of the best ever. It's odds on that they've played for one of those two clubs. And Salah's in that conversation. He has been that good. Of course he's going to be welcome. I think Liverpool fans have to take it as flattery. And yes, there is that big warning caveat of the Felipe Coutinho situation, which Liverpool fans will say, actually, your bread is buttered far nicer here than it might be elsewhere.
Yeah, Gigi, sorry to jump in, but a little bit of naivety possibly from me, but I don't actually think it is. We've all been in the other side of those questions where there is no correct answer. Someone asks you, just as Jurgen Klopp was saying there, someone asks you if Barcelona, Real Madrid sometime in the future, I mean, almost how dare you say no, as if they're not good enough for me. So you're caught between a rock and a hard place, and it's one of those questions where I don't think he had anywhere to go. And he's still got a good bit of time left in his contract just now. He's 28 years of age, he's in a brilliant place, he seems very, very happy most of the time. Other than that little comment about the captaincy. And to be fair, when Van Dijk comes back, it's not even going to be a question.
But Pat, you mentioned he's in a great position because he's 28. His contract with Liverpool is until the summer of 2023, by which time he will be 31. So in terms of if there is truth in that, if there is motive in that article, if he does want to make a move, and in some ways who could blame him because he's done everything with Liverpool, then surely it has to be soon. I'm not talking January, but it would have to be sooner rather than later.
And the word I would pick up in the middle of that sentence was if. And you're right, if that is what he wants, if that's yes, the time is sooner rather than later. But then again, have a quick look at Barcelona and Real Madrid just now. I mean, there's a lot of rebuilding to be done at both of those clubs, and if you go to those clubs and you're the massive big name and you're going to be costing 100 million quid or something like that, you better go in and do incredibly well. I mean, it didn't go well for Coutinho. He goes over there and it's not going brilliantly for him. And sometimes you think you can do everything, and as a top player you expect you're capable of doing everything. But now and again you are in a group that absolutely suits you, in a place that absolutely suits you, with a manager that perfectly suits you. So yes, there's a possibility, Gigi. I'm not ignoring that possibility, but do I think it's likely in the next short period of time? I would be absolutely stunned, unless of course one possible. If Liverpool have agreed to get Haaland, they could probably allow it to happen. Other than that, can't see it.
And the other thing, Connor, we talked about Mo Salah, he doesn't really give interviews. He's softly spoken. When I worked with him at Chelsea, he was very softly spoken, very polite. He will have to make the first move because he's under contract. He will have to actually make a big fuss to get himself out of a contract to move to a different club.
Yeah, I think, do you know what it is? It's a combination of two things here, Gigi. There is a January transfer window coming, and there's actually very few stories because of pandemic and whatnot. Agents can't meet in hotel lobbies at the moment. We're all stuck for something to talk about. Look, Mo Salah, world-class player, could play for those teams, but look back down even think back to, say, Michael Owen. When he looked back, if he could do his career again, of course it was a great experience, but actually, it is great, the legendary guys who go there and make it. And, Ronaldo's a wonderful example. He went to Real Madrid, he kicked on, he became a better player on that stage. Not many do. Mo Salah is adored here. He is winning trophies here. And for these top players, it is about trophies. If you were to say, have you a better chance of winning the Champions League currently at Liverpool or Real Madrid? I think you'd say you have a better chance at Liverpool.
Just a hard-headed thing as well, the pure finances of it just now, Gigi. This is not a good time financially for Real Madrid or indeed Barcelona. And if they had to prize them away just now, they would pay over the odds for him, which is hard to imagine considering what he's actually worth just now. So Liverpool fans, they will be concerned, they will be interested in the debate, but I don't think they should be over-worried just now.
And Pat, can I just say, behind you and Connor there, when you're both speaking, they're reading out the team news and you heard fans cheering, and I'm watching the pictures at the moment. There's only 2,000, but my word, does it make a difference to hear fans in a football stadium?
Yeah, it's actually been fantastic. There's a couple of games I've been to recently. I was at Goodison the other night, hence before you start digging me up, I've got a heater. Because I was there the other night and honestly, they had to just about wheel me out. It was frozen. Anyway, it's brilliant to hear it because now and again something happens again and then you hear the real reaction. And it lifts your soul. It lifts your heart. It is a fantastic thing to hear back again. There's very few of them around the country just now and this might disappear itself in a while, but it's brilliant to see it.
Yeah, it certainly is. Now let's have a little chat about West Brom, who'll be without their captain Jake Livermore, who's suspended for 3 matches after getting sent off against Aston Villa. That was Sam Allardyce's first match in charge. Now head coach Allardyce admits that they will miss Livermore, not Liverpool, as he thinks there's a lack of natural leaders in football at the moment.
Well, here's the controversy around that, right? The controversy around that is we've coached it out of them because we've been developing our careers for years. If you're in my shoes, it's been years and years and years. I realised in the early days, when looking back on the early days for me, I was so focused on the team, so focused on each individual, on trying to show him every single thing he needs to do, how they really should play, what positions they should take up, this, that and the other. And in the end, you're taking away the opportunity for them to think for themselves. So I think that if we look at ourselves in the mirror and say, am I a little guilty of not being or not developing that type of player you're talking about because we've taken too many decision-making processes away from the players? There's nothing better for me than players on the pitch taking responsibility for their actions and even changing the way we play because they feel that that's the right thing to do.
So Livermore misses Liverpool. The captain out, wearing the captain's armband will be Matt Phillips, who I spoke to earlier in the week and we heard from earlier in the show. But Pat, with the time that Sam Allardyce has had with West Brom, how much of Allardyce's imprint can we expect to see on this West Brom team? Oh,
it's going to take a little while because, I've always felt he's a fantastic coach at what he does, and he's the best in the business at what he does. So he will get the best out of those players, but it's going to take a little while. They have to work, in his image. And, I don't actually think a lot of the players are in his image. Well, he's making that point there in that interview, isn't he? The fact that the strength and the strength of personality that you need to be A, leaders, B, fighters, all that sort of thing. He feels it's lacking a lot in the game, but by definition he means the group of players he's working with just now. So he's going to have to work on that. He's going to have to try and get through the window here, but during that window get in some players that have got that attitude, and if he gets them and they're not completely lost at the bottom of the table and set completely adrift, then that will come in. Asking him to do it after a few weeks, that's a tall order, JJ. It's a really tall order. You'll see a bit of it. You'll see maybe a shadow of it today, I'm sure, but the real Sam Allardyce team will only happen from late January onwards, and it might be by then too late. We shall see.
Yeah, if he manages to get a few people in the transfer window. And it's important, Connor, that the players buy into what Sam Allardyce wants to do and what we know Sam Allardyce will do.
They will buy in, and I'll tell you why, G, because if they don't, they won't play. I mean, okay, you can listen to his words there, and he's saying, look, I'm guilty of not developing players. This is Fireman Sam. This is Red Adair. This is not about rearranging the furniture and putting a nice picture hanging on the wall. This is stopping the house from burning down. And, as much as he can say he feels guilty about not developing players, I mean, if they've got some talented kid, Sam Allardyce isn't going to take a gamble on them. Their most creative player, Pereira's on the bench today. He's back from suspension. Morgan Pereira, he's been fantastic this season, Mateus Pereira. He doesn't get into the team because Sam Allardyce says, we don't need you. We don't need that fancy stuff. He is going to be down there in the touchline like a kid with a video game console and controlling everything. And anyone who doesn't move exactly the way Sam Allardyce wants them to move is going to get hooked. And do you know why he'll do it? Because it's worked for him in the past. He's never been relegated from the Premier League as a manager, Sam Allardyce, and he's been brought in this late in the season many, many times. So he's going to do the tried and trusted. This is not about trying to be creative at this stage. This is get the job done.
And he was the last manager to win in the Premier League at Anfield 66 games ago. On our screens now, I've got a picture of Mo Salah, the focus of conversation, the focus of speculation. It's a big one at Anfield. I'm looking forward to this. Time for the action to get underway. Third commentary of the day with one match still to come. Wolves against Spurs from 7:15. But for now, the focus is on Liverpool with 2,000 fans in the Kop against West Brom with Pat Nevin and Conor McNamara.
This has been the third year in a row that Liverpool have been top of the Premier League for Christmas. Just to put that in context, Manchester United in the Alex Ferguson glory years, they were never top for 3 Christmases in a row. Arsene Wenger's Invincible era team never did it. You've got to go back to the great Liverpool team of the late 1970s under Bob Paisley for the last time that any side were top of the top tier in England for Christmas 3 years back to back. The most recent competitive games between Liverpool and West Bromwich Albion came 3 seasons ago when the clubs met in the Premier League and in the FA Cup. West Brom were unbeaten in all 3 of those matches against Liverpool that year. They drew 0-0 at Anfield in December that season. It was 2-2 at the Hawthorns in April. And when they met here at Anfield that year in the FA Cup, it was the 4th round. West Brom won here to knock Liverpool out of the FA Cup. So they have a little bit of history of getting under the skin of their hosts. Liverpool with a good record against Liverpool. They have only lost 3 of their last 8 meetings with them. But this current Liverpool's form contrasted with this current West Brom side's form, and you would imagine there is only one possible outcome for this game. But you said it earlier, Pat Evan, it's been that sort of a season. You don't quite know what's going to happen.
Exactly. And you mentioned that FA Cup game. A couple of interesting things about that. A, I was here, so that's bad news for Liverpool fans. And B, I believe that was the first VAR.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, very good.
And it played a part in the game.
And it's never looked back. Wonderful. Yes, I think VAR will feature.
What a lineup, by the way, that Sam's put out there. There are 5 players going to, it's like a rugby game at the start, isn't it?
This is brilliant. We've got to describe this. So you've got 5 players all up on the halfway line, all of the same side of it, the dugout side, and it's like a line out in rugby. And it's like the late cavalry surge here.
They're going to go in Robertson, aren't they? They're hammering down. There's 5 of them going to hammer down in Robertson.
This is like the 119th minute of extra time. The players take a knee. The message, no room for racism in football, as they, all of them, 22 players plus the officials down on one knee ahead of kickoff here. But this is like the last minutes of an FA Cup semi-final, and you're a goal down, and we're going to lump it, and here it comes. Darroche puts a big boot in it up into the Liverpool half. Phillips wins the header down. They almost get into the penalty area, West Brom, and Andy Robertson clears away for Liverpool. I like that, though. That is a signal of intent from Sam Allardyce. For the rest of the game, they might sit back and defend as we welcome listeners tune our way right around the world on BBC's World Service. But that little gesture right at kickoff from Sam Allardyce's team to say, we are not going to sit back and just defend here. We're going to take the game to the champions.
Is that the most Sam Allardyce thing you've just about ever seen? 5 of you up there, lump it into the corner and chase it. Now, his teams can play better football than that, and they have done in the past, but classic the way he's thought of.
Yeah, they better get back here. Curtis Jones comes into the West Brom half for the first time in the game for Liverpool, attacking the Anfield Road end away to our left-hand side. This is 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. You can listen on the BBC Sounds app and also on the BBC Sport website. Joel Matip, who's now started 7 of the last 10 Premier League games, beginning to forge a good partnership with Fabinho, who makes his 100th appearance for Liverpool in League and Cup games. Matip wearing the gloves on what is a cold day at Anfield. Fabinho to his left-hand side. 9 of his starts now this season have been at centre-back for Liverpool in the continued absence of Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk. And you look at the other absentee players at the moment with the likes of Diego Jota, Thiago as well. You know, you wonder how good are Liverpool going to be when they get their full team available to Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, they've done fantastically well. And the question was always asked for 2 or 3 years now, have they get a good enough quality in the depth of the squad? Well, they seem to manage to get through it, even when they've had major players and big players like Van Dijk, even Salah in the past being injured. They've found a way through it, so that's impressive. By the way, the most impressive thing about West Brom, I don't know if we've mentioned it yet, they're playing 4-4-2. They are playing 2 up, and not many people do that, many teams do that away from home here at Anfield.
Yeah, these are the lineups. Alisson, the Liverpool goalkeeper, back 4, Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Fabinho and Robertson. 3 in the midfield, Henderson, Wijnaldum and Jones. And 3 up top, Mo Salah, Firmino and Mane, and it is Robertson on the attack down the left-hand side for Liverpool. Steadies himself, sends in a dangerous cross that bounces across the 6-yard box, but Firmino can't get on the end of it. Salah will keep it in play on the far side. Liverpool remain on the attack. No one's picking up Henderson. He does a little dink into the penalty area, and Ajayi is able to head it back out of the penalty area again. There was a lot of room for Henderson, and West Brom can't afford to give him that sort of space on the edge of the penalty area. Liverpool still on the attack here at Anfield, and then Henderson sends a calming ball back behind to Fabinho, and then here is Wijnaldum dropping deep in amongst the central defenders, and West Brom are sitting very deep now. They might have started like the charge of the Light Brigade or whatever it is at the very beginning of the game. They are back defending deep on the edge of their own penalty area now. The West Brom team, St Johnston the goalkeeper, Furlong, Ajayi, O'Shea and Gibbs on the back four, Sawyers and Gallagher in the midfield, and there's Phillips, Robinson and Diangana attacking, and Carlin Grant is the centre forward. His only previous appearance against Liverpool was when Huddersfield came here and lost by 5-0 in April 2019. Henderson has possession again, no pressure on him near the centre circle. Plays a little 1-2 with Joel Matip. Comes further, deeper into West Brom territory. Gives it off to Fabinho. Tries the little 1-2 with Sadio Mane, and then an interception. Phillips tries to get it for West Brom and loses it immediately. Here is Roberto Firmino on the edge of the penalty area. Tries to dink it through to a run that was made by Mo Salah, but West Brom have got a wall of bodies back there, and Diangana will bring away possession and send it forward in front of Carlin Grant, too far in front of him, and it's easily mopped up and back to Alisson. 0-0 at Anfield. Pat Nevin.
Do you know, it's going to be really difficult for West Brom. We know that anyway, but the way they're set, they will just all drop back to it about 30 yards from their own goal when they lose it. Now, against most teams, that's hard to break through. But when you've got Salah on the field, when you've got Robertson, who has already put one brilliant cross in, so there's a number of things they have to do. Keep completely concentrated, but I'm already seeing a gap just behind. Robertson is going up the right-hand side there, but Robinson has to cover him. If he doesn't, they're in trouble.
Liverpool attack down the right-hand side with Alexander-Arnold towards Roberto Firmino. Sawyer's close to him, and Liverpool forced back to the halfway line. West Brom, they have raised their game against the so-called big clubs this season. They drew at Chelsea, they drew at Manchester City, and although they lost to Tottenham and they lost to Manchester United, those were both close games. Tottenham's winning goal came in the 88th minute. Manchester United beat West Brom. I remember being at the game at Old Trafford. There was 2 controversial penalty appeals at either end. West Brom were unfortunate on both occasions. They arguably deserved to get something from that for Slaven Bilic. But when they come up against the big name clubs, the big stadiums, they've done as well as they have done in any game this season. West Brom, they've got a free kick on the edge of their penalty area here, and the goalkeeper Sam Johnson will take it. Sam Allardyce unbeaten in his last 3 Premier League visits here to Anfield. The last time he came here was as Everton coach. It was a 0-0 draw in the Merseyside derby against Jurgen Klopp. Gallagher wins a header and gets possession back again. Conor Gallagher on loan from Chelsea, who's been one of West Brom's better players this season. But he loses the ball here to Jordan Henderson, who sends Andy Robertson on the counter-attack over the halfway line. Firmino challenged by Conor Gallagher, but West Brom don't hold on to it, and here's a chance, and Salah stretching, and he can't get there. Robertson's cross from the left-hand side. Salah stretching out his right boot. Any touch at all, it would have been 1-0, but he just couldn't get there. Henderson crosses from the right-hand side. Might have struck the arm of a defender there. VAR will have a look at that in the background. Play continues for the moment. Here is Fabinho, well advanced from centre half, and he tries a shot from 10 yards outside the penalty area, more than that, and it blazes over the top. Liverpool 0, West Brom 0, and more devastating delivery from Andy Robertson from the left-hand side.
That is precisely that area I was telling you about just seconds ago. Now everybody knows that Robertson goes in there. However, right from the start, it's been very noticeable. Robinson's not natural. He is not a natural marker in that position. He finds himself, he looks away, and he'll only have to look half a second away. Robertson will get in there, and that's the second brilliant cross he's put in the game so far. Just a minute ago, like you, I thought there might have been a handball in there from a West Brom defender, but nothing doing. Referee's playing on.
Liverpool 0, West Bromwich Albion 0 here at Anfield on 5 Live on the World Service from the BBC. Robertson has put the ball out of play. It'll be a throw into West Brom midway inside the Liverpool half. The team, by the way, who've been top of the Premier League table on Christmas Day has gone on to win the title 9 out of the last 11 seasons. And the 2 seasons it hasn't happened, funny enough, has been Liverpool have been top of the table and didn't go on to seal the deal. Ball goes out of play in front of Jurgen Klopp, and he plays ball boy, flicks it up with his trainers and throws it to Wijnaldum. Liverpool quick to get onto it and to set the early agenda here, to set the tempo against their visitors, who are in the Premier League's relegation zone. Only Sheffield United have had a worse campaign than West Brom. West Brom have had 1 win in the Premier League, and that 1 win has come up against the 1 team below them, Sheffield United, who, if they play against Burnley the day after tomorrow. If Sheffield United were to lose that game, it will be the worst start to a season, not in the Premier League era, not in the top flight. It'll be the worst start to a season in all 4 divisions ever. No team will have ever gone that deep into a season without a single victory.
That is extraordinary, considering they're a decent side.
Yeah, that's it. Well, they've lost 10 games by a single goal. You know, they're not getting hammered the way Crystal Palace did last weekend. Here is Fabinho looping one over the top. Robertson have made a good run, and he can't get onto it as it goes out for a goal kick to West Brom away to our left. But I think the point I'm making there with Sheffield United, West Brom, were it not for a team being catastrophically poor below them, West Brom's form arguably would be bad enough to be foot of the table in most seasons.
Yeah, and it would be absolutely noticed just now. But you know, that's what I was saying just before the game. They need to just keep in touch. If they can keep in touch, then Sam can, I was going to say work his magic, but do what Sam does. And it's not all just about pure physicality. He will be looking at that transfer window and thinking, who's available? And he will look at players that others won't look at and get the best out of them. Back in the old days at Bolton, he was astonishing what he got out of players that everyone thought was past it. And he managed to get an extra year out of them. And these were sometimes top-class players that had gone well beyond a sell-by date, everyone thought. But he got more out of them. But he's got to get to that transfer window.
Here's an attacking opportunity for West Brom. They've got a throw in down the right wing. Donnell Furlong sends a good long throw in it, and it goes out for a goal kick. Ajayi had gone forward. He was trying to flick it further across the goalmouth area, but all he could do was put it out for a goal kick. You mentioned Sam Allardyce's time at Bolton. Back then, when he was Bolton manager, he beat Liverpool in the Premier League 3 times. He's beaten Liverpool as West Ham manager. He's beaten them with Palace. And there's only one manager in the Premier League era who's beaten Liverpool with more clubs than that, and that is...
Oh, it's not Josie, is it?
No, with more clubs. Josie's not had more clubs than that. It is Harry Redknapp.
Oh, that's a lot, of course.
Who's had more clubs than Jack Nicklaus. Here is Fabinho on the halfway line. No pressure from West Brom. Interesting this. There's no high press. Happy for Liverpool to come into their half. It is compressed. There's very little room between the defenders and the midfielders for West Brom. And they're allowing Liverpool's defenders to have it all to themselves here around the centre circle area. Curtis Jones, 11th appearance for him in the Premier League. Still a teenager. Soon to turn 20 though next month. Robertson's found some space again down the left-hand side. This is so dangerous. Robinson is struggling to keep up with him, and Robertson is able to clear away. We've got Andy Robertson on the left-hand side for Liverpool. Callum Robinson trying to keep up with him and struggling to do so for West Brom as Henderson floats one into the penalty area. The tall frame of Ajayi leaps up and wins the header. Salah tries to get control of it on the deck. Now Callum Robinson weaves into a right full-back position and clears it upfield, and this is the problem for West Brom. They're all hands on deck in defence, and when Robinson clears it up to the halfway line, there are none of his teammates within 30 yards of the ball, and Liverpool are going to come straight back at West Brom once more.
Well, we slightly misled the listener saying it was 4-4-2. It's 6-4-0. That's exactly what it is just now. It's 6-4-0. And that thing I mentioned after 1 minute of the game about Robertson and Robinson here, how many times has been caught? And it's just positioning. Against Robertson, you cannot do it. And I'm surprised that Sam's not been out there shouting and bawling. Having said that, his assistant is out there trying to talk Robinson through the game here, because if he doesn't eventually find the right position to take, they will lose a goal from the left-hand side.
Yeah. Big Sam and Little Sam down there. Sammy Lee drilling on the instructions. Here's Manny, he's in and he's going to score. Liverpool take the lead, and it's simple as that. A direct ball into the penalty area. Manny controlled it around the penalty spot. There's no defender lunging in on him. The marking is lapse, and Sam Allardyce will not be happy with that. We haven't played 12 minutes yet at Anfield, and Sadio Mane scores the goal to put Liverpool in front. He'd had a long wait until that goal last time out against Crystal Palace. That was his first in 10 games. Now he's got goals in back-to-back matches, and that defending's just not good enough. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, but it is a brilliant ball in there. But you're right. I mean, if you've got six players playing in defence, it should be tight, but right through the centre, it wasn't close enough. They were just too wide. Great ball in there, but what a take there by Sadio Mane.
So he is back in action. Sadio Mane's goal. Liverpool lead West Brom by 1-0, and this could be a long afternoon now for the visitors and for Sam Allardyce. By the way, on Sports Extra right now, we've got commentary of Sale Sharks against Wasps. I believe there's been a long injury delay there, Austin Halewood.
Yeah, that's right, Connor. Just over 10 minutes to go in the second half. Sale 16, Wasps 23, but a long break in play here, nearing about 10 minutes now. So concerns over Wasps winger Zach Kibarigi, who's just been stretchered off as I speak, actually, with a head injury. Everyone in the ground here hoping that's nothing too serious, but Wasps still lead after those two quick tries early on in the second half. Sale just about staying in touching distance. Sale 16, Wasps 23 here at the AJ Bell, and sadly, Connor, not a heater in sight.
Thanks very much, Austin. Yeah, for listeners who weren't with us earlier on, big softy Pat Nevins brought his own heater here. He's not sharing it with anyone, I see. It's been kept very close to his person. Callum Robinson attacks down the right-hand side for West Brom. He gives it into Diangana in the midfield. He's done well to get it out to Furlong on the right-hand side. Crosses into a busy penalty area. Matip around the penalty spot heads it away. Jordan Henderson helps it further away, but Liverpool don't clear their lines, and here come West Brom again. Nice touch by Romain Sawyers into the penalty area, but he can't pick out Diangana, and then Alisson, the goalkeeper, puts a big right boot on it, and West Brom come back at Liverpool once more, and this is decent pressure for the visitors, and they've actually responded very well to going 1-0 down. They'll be furious they've conceded that goal, but they've not allowed their heads to drop, and that was actually the best passage of play from West Brom in the game so far.
And that's what's been drilled into them by, well, both the Sams, as you mentioned there. They won't get forward that often, but when they do get forward, try to get as many bodies up there as possible. Specifically if they get, a long throw or a corner, there won't be that many of them, but when you get the opportunity, try and flood the area. That's what they tried to do then. Didn't really lead to a chance, but it just shows a bit of willingness.
West Brom still in the attack. Callum Robinson tries to cross on the right hand side. It takes a deflection, and Jordan Henderson can clear it away, wallops it up towards the halfway line, and Darrow Shea puts it out for a Liverpool throw. So Sadio Mane, who loves playing against the newly promoted teams, that is now 7 goals in his last 8 appearances at home against teams who have recently been promoted up to the Premier League. He took it well, as you say, Pat. Good delivery into him. His first touch is excellent to set it up, and it's not that he's got acres to himself, but you give him a yard or two to himself in that central position, he ain't gonna miss.
Yeah, and the ball that was played to him, I think it was Matip that played the ball in, zipped it. I'm not sure about it, but I think it was Matip, and it was zipped in beautifully. I mean, it's a completely defence splitting pass, and but there was still a lot to do. First touch was absolute genius, got himself in goal, and Mane doesn't miss many from there.
Yeah, it was Joel Matip's assist for the goal. He's in possession here at the moment. Scored an own goal in that FA Cup game that Pat mentioned was the first match with VAR 3 years ago. Gallagher's done well here inside his own penalty area, wearing the bright yellow boots, wins possession and clears it up towards Diangana, but Matip wins it back again easily for Liverpool, and Mo Salah, one of the 2 changes in Jurgen Klopp's team today, helps it on through Henderson and out to Andy Robertson. If you missed the Liverpool team news, Jones in for Keita, Salah for Minamino, who had started and scored against Crystal Palace. That demolition, that 7-0 game, Liverpool's highest ever away win in the top flight last weekend. So the ball is put out of play for a Liverpool attacking throw down the left. And just a reminder for listeners tuning in that crowd noise you hear in the background, that is not the artificial crowd noise, that is the real thing. 2,000 supporters inside Anfield, pleased at what they've seen with Liverpool's start so far. Wijnaldum has possession, scored against Wolves a couple of home games ago. Game that Liverpool won by 4-0. Curtis Jones here, back in to the Dutchman. 23 of his 26 goals for Liverpool have come at home at Anfield. He's very much a home bird. Here he is again, and no pressure on him as Wijnaldum rolls the ball to Curtis Jones, who can look up, play a 1-2 with Sadio Mane. West Brom are playing very, very deep indeed. Roberto Firmino back to Matip in the centre circle. Over to the right full-back position where Jordan Henderson is sat. He's got Trent Alexander-Arnold infield of him, a more midfield position. Now Robertson crosses from the left-hand side, missed by Ajayi. Mane almost in again, tries to shoot left-footed, and it's repelled away and out for a corner, and Liverpool were nearly in again.
Yeah, it's when West Brom get themselves in a position where they have cut out the worried players, particularly Salah and, as we say, Robertson, they just zip it through the middle, and because it's such a good touch, Firmino's got a brilliant touch in there when it's zipped into him. Nearly worked out very well with Mane, and they get a corner kick out of it. Long afternoon for West Brom just now, isn't it?
And no breather as Robertson wastes no time swinging it in. Salah was so close to that. It's actually a fresh air shot from Mo Salah. He was between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box, and you would have backed him to get a touch on that and to hit the target. Another good delivery, but this is going to be such... I mean, West Brom have got to get tighter.
If they lose the next goal, it could be quite horrible for them, you know. It's not as if they're playing terribly. I have no idea how they're playing, because they're not getting a kick. I think it's 85% possession for Liverpool.
Flicked on by Roberto Firmino, cleared away by Callum Robinson. Look how deep West Brom were here. They were all back inside their own penalty area, all 11 of them there. Here's a cross from Alexander-Arnold from the right. Mane's in, lunging again inside the 6-yard box, and the ball just fizzes through him. And West Brom are relieved to see it out, but this is relentless at the moment from Liverpool. Chance after chance. They've already scored one. Sadio Mane, whenever he has scored in home matches for Liverpool in all competitions, they've never lost the match. They have won all but one in which he scored in the past. And he could, it's not much of an exaggeration to say, have had a hat-trick here already, Sadio Mane.
Yeah, the inventiveness and the creativity has been brilliant, and it's coming from everywhere. And that's the great thing about this Liverpool team just now. It's going to be both full-backs. It's coming from centre-halves. He's the one who's got the assist so far. But everywhere throughout, they're putting the ball into dangerous areas, and if you've got Firmino in there, if you've got Mane in there, and obviously if you've got Salah in there, it just needs it to fall to one of them. As you say, I'm just surprised that Salah didn't score with the opportunity he had, because we've seen it this season. If it comes near him, almost he's like a cobra. He gets his feet out so quickly, and this occasion he couldn't.
That goal, by the way, Sadio Mane's 69th for Liverpool in the Premier League, which means he moves level with Luis Suarez in their Premier League era all-time goal scorers list. He's now joint 5th place. The players who've scored more goals for Liverpool in the Premier League are Mo Salah, Michael Owen, Steven Gerrard, and top of them all, Robbie Fowler. But Mane is very much in the same breath as those players in the modern era for Liverpool, and obviously the likes of Ian Rush scored even more than that in the pre-Premier League days. This is Henderson into Wijnaldum, and again, look at this. West Brom sitting so deep here, all 11 players inside their final third, and pretty much inviting Liverpool onto them, which is all well and good if you can keep them at bay, but Liverpool time and time again are still creating chances, even with West Brom sitting this deep. Henderson has it, centre of the park. Mane's dropped deep and plays a lovely ball out to Salah on the far side. First touch back to Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool shifting the ball here, moving and forcing West Brom to move their defensive position. They're trying to sit rigid, but they've got to keep adapting as Liverpool sling the ball around. Back out to the right-hand side here to Alexander-Arnold. Back into the middle now to Jordan Henderson. Has a look up. Doesn't see anything that tempts him to launch it into the penalty area, so he'll give it short to Fabinho. Back into Henderson again, who's been at the heart of everything for Liverpool in these opening 20 minutes at Anfield and 5 Live in the World Service for the BBC. Here he is again, Henderson. It must be the 10th time in this build-up that Henderson has had possession, and he's going to get it again here. Alexander-Arnold back in Henderson. Now the delivery will come. Mane's onto a diving header, flashes just wide. Liverpool's patience almost delivers a second goal, and Sadio Mane is getting on the end of everything at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely is. And they play and wait for a little bit of a gap. It's actually not a gap, it's the hint of a nuance of a gap that they look for. Put it into that sort of area there, and they just know that, well, he's on fire just now, man. He's getting, as they say, onto everything. Always willing, always running, always doing it with pace, always going into the right areas. Great understanding with these Liverpool players just now, and I suppose some fans would have thought, will there be any rustiness? Liverpool look as sharp as they have been at any point this season just now.
They do. They have not overdone the Turkey and Christmas Day. Liverpool, they are firing on all cylinders here. Chance to cross on the right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold weaves and tricks and eventually picks out Salah onto his left boot. No room for the shot. Henderson will take it off him and out of the penalty area again. Liverpool hold on to possession, and West Brom defending right on the edge of their own penalty area. Curtis Jones on the right-hand side, flicks it with the outside of his right boot to Alexander-Arnold. He gives it in low. Mane again, sliding, comes off his shin pad and takes a deflection off a defender and goes for a corner. And they need to get like super glue on Sadio Mane because he's slipping his marker every time.
Do you know, it's one of the hardest things in football is to get to the byline, you know, with nobody on you so you can put the ball across there. Liverpool make it look so incredibly easy. Both them and Manchester City to some degree are amazing at that.
Corner is played in. Van Alden's header at the front post is well wide of the target. Liverpool 1, West Brom 0. If you're just joining our coverage, the goal came after 12 minutes and scored by Sadio Mane, who has had a hatful of chances in this opening quarter of the game.
But you wouldn't dig him up for missing chances. He just gets himself into brilliant positions so that, you know, when a ball looks like it's vaguely put into the right area, he gets there. And you mentioned some players before, like Fowler, like Rush, those guys, like Owen, always get there, always make sure that if the ball goes into that position between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper, they are there as well. Mane's doing it just now.
Yeah. Sam Allardyce knows all about Ian Rush. In his playing days, Big Sam played here at Anfield for Coventry, and they lost by 5-0. It was May 1984. Ian Rush scored 4 of Liverpool's 5 goals.
By the way, for those who don't know of our younger era, Sam was a centre-back, so he would have been marking Ian Rush.
He'll know all about it. Mind you, and to give Sam Allardyce his credit, he was also at a Coventry team that beat Liverpool 4-0 in 1983. Terry Gibson scored a hat-trick in that match, so he's been on both ends of it in his playing days, Sam Allardyce, against Liverpool. He's had victories against them in the Premier League as a manager, as we've mentioned, but here today, 1-0 down from early on, still getting to know his West Brom team. And I think he's realising quite what a difficult task Slaven Bilic had this season, because it has been almost constant defence from West Brom.
I mean, look at it just now. Look at the system that Liverpool are playing against just now. It is at 6-4-0, isn't it?
Absolutely.
There's nobody even close to it.
No one's even pretending that they're lurking as a striker. I mean, you know, Callum Robinson is an attacking player. He's playing right back. Carlin Grant is sitting on the D of the penalty areas. Liverpool attack down the left-hand side. Andy Robertson tried to play it short to Mane, and it's cut out by Matt Phillips. And then Romain Sawyers clears away. We mentioned this before. It's all well and good clearing it away, but if there's no one up there, it's like hitting it off a wall. It's going to come straight back to you.
It's a horrible thing to be, you know, organising a team that's playing that defensively, because you know there's no way out. It's almost like a training game where you play attack against defence, and if you're on the defensive side, you know you're not going to attack. There is no attack for you. You just have to stay there. I will say one thing: they won't be exhausted by it because they're not running far. They're just standing there in their areas.
That's a good point. A bit of rope-a-dope, perhaps, from West Brom. Right, okay. Jordan Henderson, by the way, who started Sam Allardyce's only game as England manager, that World Cup win against Slovakia in 2016. Henderson was in that Allardyce team. It's another lovely touch by Alexander-Arnold to pick out Curtis Jones. Those two have combined well on the right-hand side. Henderson floats it across too high, too close to the goalkeeper. And Seb Johnson, who, well, you know, he's used to this. He's made more saves this season than any other goalkeeper in the Premier League, and he'll have come here knowing that he was going to be peppered with shots in this match. The former Manchester United goalkeeper, Sam Johnson, beaten once already.
I think he's just delighted that actually wasn't a very good cross. It's probably the first one in the game so far from Liverpool. You think, well, that was a poor cross, went straight to the goalkeeper. Everything else is asked a question, caused a problem. If not for the goalkeeper, definitely for the defence.
Liverpool 1, West Bromwich Albion 0. Earlier on today, the 12 noon kickoff in the Premier League. Leeds beat Burnley by 1-0. The law of the X, Patrick Bamford coming back to score against his old club. Good season he's having, Patrick Bamford. His 10th goal in 15 games for Leeds in the top flight this season. And Leeds bouncing back from what had been a heavy defeat against Manchester United to get the 3 points today. There was a 2-2 draw in the 2-15 game. It finished West Ham 2, Brighton 2. West Ham twice came from behind in that match. You can watch all the highlights this evening. Match of the day 2:11:20 on BBC One, unless you live in Northern Ireland, where it's an 11 o'clock kickoff for you tonight.
Just mentioned during the West Ham game, I shall come to that in a second because Liverpool are attacking.
Curtis Jones just outside the penalty area on the right hand side. Defender standing up well in front of him, actually. It was Kieran Gibbs. Henderson then floats it across towards the back stick, and Darnell Furlong will head it out of play. Liverpool throw in on the left hand side.
You actually can't get a word in here because at any moment in time Liverpool actually could put 2 passes together and they could be in and goal.
Yeah, if this was a dull game, I'd be giving Pat all sorts of gibbo on his heater, but we just don't have room for it. Here is Henderson onto Roberto Firmino. That's a good ball. To the right-hand side to Alexander-Arnold. Not a great pass, but it does pick out Salah. We're slightly behind Salah. And Roberto Firmino hits it left-footed, takes a deflection, and out for yet another corner. Roberto Firmino, who scored 3 times in his last 2 games, and he wins a corner for his side here.
You know, during the previous game, the West Ham fans were complaining first half, particularly David Moyes' side were quite negative. Go and have a look at this, guys.
This is Liverpool's 3rd corner of the match. Referee's just saying to hold on to Andy Robertson. There's some pushing in the goal mouth that he wants to sort out first. I mean, do you think, Pat, it's damage limitation from Sam Allardyce? He saw what happened to Crystal Palace.
Yes.
He realises his team's morale can't suffer that. Let's just lose this 1 or 2-0.
Yeah.
Hang on. Corner comes in from the left-hand side. O'Shea clears away for West Brom. Maybe chance of a counter-attack here. This is Diangana. Held up though by Curtis Jones. Liverpool win it back again, and now Roberto Firmino will attack the penalty area. What a glorious ball that is. The outside of his right boot to pick out Mo Salah. Edge of the penalty area. Has a little look up. Lays it off short to Jordan Henderson. Alexander-Arnold's very central again. Back out to the right wing to Salah. Back in field to Alexander-Arnold again. Liverpool picking their way towards the edge of the West Brom penalty area. Curtis Jones gets a push on the back, and this is a free kick now in a shooting position for Liverpool just outside the tee of the penalty area.
Yeah, the question we were asking before, Sam Allardyce is no mug. If you go and play a very, very open style against Liverpool, you've got to be very good. You've got to have a lot of talent. You've got to have a lot of pace. You have to have a lot of quality, particularly here at Anfield. I don't think he's got enough of that anywhere in his team, and he knows that. He's not fool. So he will try and play this. It's a sensible way to play. I mean, we're saying the negativity, but it's to some degree the sensible way to play. And I understand why Sam's doing it. It might be one of those days. It's a catch-22. Whatever Sam does today, it might not work.
Hey, look, if they nick an equaliser and get a draw here, we'll all say he's an absolute genius. So let's see how things pan out. But this is dangerous for West Brom. Free kick to Liverpool. 7 or 8 yards outside the penalty area. Liverpool have erected a little mini 2-man wall in front of the West Brom wall. Mo Salah definitely fancies this.
Well, you got to guess. I'm going Alexander-Arnold.
Alexander-Arnold's the player placing it as well. So it's a right and left-footed option. And this screams danger. Here it comes. Alexander-Arnold over the wall, and it took a clip, did it? No, it didn't. Wide. Off target, actually by some distance in the end, by his standards, from Trent Alexander-Arnold.
You're absolutely right. By his standards, it's a long way off. It's about 3-4 yards off. I mean, he did the hard bit. He got it up and down. No problem at all over the wall. Actually, the wall wasn't great there. Ducked slightly. However, nowhere near the precision that he usually has.
Liverpool normally brush newly promoted sides away. They've only lost 1 of their last 52 home Premier League matches against newly promoted sides. And the team that did beat them was Blackpool. That was a long time ago, a decade ago now. Matt Phillips, who's playing in this game, was in the Blackpool team that day. Fabinho's possession in the centre circle.
I love the way he just threw away that fantastic start as if it meant nothing. That's a great start.
Thank you very much.
Very impressive.
That's right. It sounds better, I think, when you throw them away. If you make a big deal of it, it's always underwhelming. We'll go for a full-time update of the rugby. Just a moment. Liverpool on the attack here. Ball inside the West Bromwich Albion penalty area, but Darragh O'Shea is able to clear it away. Liverpool lead. Mane's goal. Liverpool 1. West Brom 0. All over at the AJ Bell. Austin Halewood.
Wasps 26, Sale 23. A really big win on the road for Wasps. 2 very different halves from them, summing up their season really so far. Poor in the first, but creative and clinical in the second. Tries from Atkinson and Cruz, and 4 penalties from Lima Sopawanga. As for Sale, tries from Marlon Yard either side of the break were only enough for a losing bonus point. The Sharks now 3 defeats from 3 under new director of rugby Paul Deacon. So full time in the final Premiership match of the year. Wasps 26, Sale 23.
Thanks very much, Austin. Tomorrow, Kelly Casey's got the Monday Night Club, followed by You're Better Than That with Alistair Bruce Ball, which is my favourite programme on the network when it's on, when Ali gets his quiz questions going and is the ringmaster of that. So you can listen to that. Apparently, Pat, tomorrow is Monday. Who knew? But apparently it is. Monday Night Club tomorrow. Could have fooled me.
I never know. No one ever knows at this time of the year, but I don't think it matters.
It really doesn't matter. Here comes Phillips down the right-hand side for West Brom. And Carlin Grant here has it on the edge of the penalty area. He's got Fabinho standing up in front of him. Grant crosses from the right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold hooks it away only as far as Sawyers. Sawyers took it on the volley first time, and then it hits an arm of Diagana, and all the Liverpool fans scream for a free kick, and he was offside anyway. Flag was raised, and that's a free kick to Liverpool. But that is a rare West Bromwich Albion attack, trailing as they do by a goal to nil here at Anfield.
But that is the game plan. 100%, that is a game plan. Every now and again, it might only be every 15-20 minutes, they will get up the field, they will break, but they need to get enough players up there. I think like a lot of Sam's teams in the past, I mean, it's not as if they're brilliant in the air, but they want to get some free kicks, they want to get some corner kicks. On that occasion they didn't have enough players up front, but it shows you what the game plan is. So far, oddly, to a degree it's working. To lose a second goal, it's done, it's finished, and you cannot see them coming back.
And that is the point, isn't it? You know, this is all justified, this is all worth it if West Brom can score a goal of their own and nick one. And he knows they're not going to pepper the Liverpool penalty area. If they do, it'll be a smash and grab from Sam Allardyce's team. As Liverpool win another free kick here, again in an attacking position. This is just a few paces outside the penalty area. It's not central. It's out to the left-hand side, but it's probably still an angle you could contemplate a shot. It'll more likely be a cross.
Yeah, I think Alexander-Arnold, once again, if he wouldn't have had such an average attempt in his last one, he would have been thinking about this again. We shall see. Depends really where the goalkeeper sets up. He's only put 2 in the wall there. That's enough for, I think, Alexander-Arnold to see something, but there's always a temptation of Robertson to zip it in with his quality between the defence and the keeper.
Free kick to Liverpool, leading 1-0 at Anfield, looking for their 10th win in the Premier League this season. Jurgen Klopp's champions. Robertson's delivery is across. Daroshay heads it to Salah, and straight back in and flashes just over the crossbar. He's so good at that, Salah. He needs no backlift. Most players would have had to take a touch there, he just flings it back towards where it came from.
Yeah, the analogy I made earlier on about being a cobra. You know, he strikes and you just don't expect him. It's so quick. And as you say, there's no backlift there, but to get your body and your balance correct for that sort of touch. So it's just one touch, it's come down straight away and he's caught it on the half volley, but it all seems in one movement. You know, there's not 2 movements, it's just one movement.
It's the voice of Pat Mevin watching this game with us here on 5 Live. Mane's goal, the difference between the teams. 10 minutes now to go until the break at Anfield. Trent Alexander-Arnold defends it right back for Liverpool, keeps it in play well. Up to Curtis Jones, who got the winning goal against Ajax earlier on this month, looking for his first Premier League goal of the season. He has scored 1 Premier League goal in the past before this campaign. Robertson attacking down the left again for Liverpool, and this time he plays it deep and shallow, and for Roberto Firmino, and Salah then gives it back to Firmino just on the edge of the D. He tries a Brazilian back heel, and Conor Gallagher tries to clear away, and they haven't got it away at all, West Brom. Mane to the byline left-hand side, and he's got several of his teammates waiting. Another attempted back heel, blocked by Conor Gallagher, and Robinson plays it off Robertson and thought he was going to get a throw in, but it's going to be a Liverpool throw, which Robertson takes quickly into the penalty area. Firmino gives it back to Andy Robertson. Deep ball back to Joel Matip, who's through ball created the assist for the only goal we've had in the game so far. Alexander-Arnold tries to pick out Mo Salah, and here is Carlin Grant, who is all on his own, isolated, and he will charge into the Liverpool half. 5 defenders around him, tries to cut back in field. It's inevitable he was going to give up possession, and it's Mo Salah who wins it back for Liverpool.
I was gauging by your tone there how excited you were going to be with like 20 yards from the goal. But when you've got 5 players around you and just about no one up beside you, it's a tough gig for him. Yeah. I mean, I say he's working hardish. When they break, they try and break with a bit of pace, but other than that, they get back. And it's the point I was making earlier on. I don't think they'll be exhausted. They just get back into a shape. They make sure they're in that 6-4 formation, and when in that formation, they just try and make sure they keep an eye on the runners. That's easier said than done. Having said that, last 10 minutes, not so many clear-cut chances for Liverpool.
Yeah, I think it's the old adage, if Liverpool hadn't scored after 12 minutes, we'd all be saying West Brom are actually doing very well here and they're keeping Liverpool at bay. But because Liverpool have the lead, it's a different story. When Carlin Grant came over the halfway line there, it was like he was in a car chase and his car only had first gear. So he had the foot down, he was revving the engine, but he couldn't, he just couldn't get any sort of momentum around the superior vehicles around him.
Yeah, the 6 cop cars that were beside him.
Blue lights flashing as across to the right-hand side from Alexander Arnold is held onto by the West Brom goalkeeper, Sam Johnson.
Yeah, once again, I mean, what a relief that is. A few of the West Brom players, and it is only for a few seconds at a time. Goalkeeper gets it, holds it as long as he possibly can. It gives you a chance to push up a little bit and hopefully get the odd knock on from the long kick, because they're not going to play it for the back, are they? West Brom. I just couldn't imagine that happening at any point.
Liverpool 1, West Bromwich Albion 0. Liverpool enjoying very high possession stats in this game. They've had 85% possession.
Oh, yours has moved to 85. Mine has been on 84 since about the second minute.
I'm rounding it up. It says 84.8, so I've got to give that.
I think it's one of those ones where it doesn't go above 84. It just stops there.
Frankly, Pat, your heater is using up so much electricity. I'm surprised that your stats machine is able to function at all.
I've told you before about this jealousy problem you've got. You've got to leave it go. Mate, I'm going to share it with you, right? I promise I'll share it with you. You can have it for the next game.
As the temperatures drop, my jealousy of Pat's heater is going to increase. Any Liverpool fans listening in, you may not have any funds for the January transfer window because Pat Nevin is running up your electricity bill at an incredible rate here with his plutonium-powered heater.
I will admit to that being the case, because I've just discovered it's actually got... It can go up to 26 degrees, and I've just noticed that.
That's very Spinal Tap. Out of 10, it can go up to 26. Here is Salah, edge of the penalty area, tries to play a 1-2 with Roberto Firmino, doesn't quite come back to the Egyptian, and then Henderson's unable to bring it with him into the penalty area. Liverpool do hold on to possession. They do remain inside West Brom half of the field. And once again, Sam Allardyce has drilled into his team too. When the opponents have the ball, you get deep. You sit just outside our own penalty area. Build a wall. Here is Henderson. Out to Salah on the right wing. Back into Henderson again. Nice, clever short ball to Firmino. He's allowed to turn on the edge of the penalty area. Got Sawyers now in front of him. Gives a left-footed pass to Curtis Jones just outside the box on the left-hand side. Jones back into the centre. Liverpool keep trying to find some space. It's scooped forward by Jordan Henderson. It's headed away by Kieran Gibbs. And Conor Gallagher is going to bring it away here. But this is his problem. He's no one ahead of him. And he's done really well here until he's eventually bundled off the ball by Henderson. He's actually won a free kick for his team. That was about as good as Conor Gallagher could have achieved down that particular cul-de-sac he found himself there.
Well, you mentioned earlier in the game that he's had a really good season. I would agree. I think he's arguably been the best player since he's getting a game. I mean, as a young player, he's learned a lot at Chelsea and they've developed a lot of very good players. But he's hardly had a kick in this game, has he? He's basically closed down. He's done the hard miles. When he got the ball there, the best thing he could get was a free kick, and he got that. But that must be tough, especially if you've come from a club where you're used to getting the ball all the time and holding it. You're just basically chasing shadows at the moment.
I think Chelsea will be pleased at the progress of Conor Gallagher on loan at West Brom this season. He's played pretty much every game since he's arrived. He's still only 20 years of age. And look, I know Chelsea don't have a great track record of bringing these guys back from loan spells and actually putting them in the team. But he's certainly a player with a career ahead of him, just 20 years of age. Here is Mane on the attack for Liverpool. They lead thanks to his goal. Crosses deep towards the far post. If anything, Mo Salah's jump was a little early. He was on his way down as the ball came to him. Kieran Gibbs from left back from West Brom will clear it up towards the halfway line. Karlan Grant actually beats Matip in the air, but Fabinho's well positioned in behind, and warm applause from the Liverpool fans for their Brazilian central defender there. Here comes Mane stepping into the penalty area left-hand side. He loves a back heel today, Mane. Here's one to Robertson. Good cross in towards the back post. Daroshay backpedaling, and Diangana's miscued his attempted clearance away, so Liverpool will hold on to the ball on the right wing. Alexander Arnold short to Jordan Henderson on the edge of the box. Can Liverpool get a second goal here at Anfield ahead of half-time? We've got just over 4 minutes of normal time to go to the break. Gallagher wins it back again for West Brom. He's pinned in right by the quarterback. Oh, that's not a good clearance. He's given it to Sadio Mane into the penalty area. Floats it across. That's too high for Roberto Firmino. And it will eventually trickle out for a throw into West Brom, and they breathe a big sigh of relief.
Do you know, if West Brom defend any deeper, they'll be at Goodison. They're that far back just now. They're halfway in Stanley Park. It's extraordinary to see them that deep. The crosses are coming in, and maybe that is exactly what the manager wants. Just get in there, get massive numbers in there, And if you put enough bodies in there, it's going to be hard to get through. But that is soul destroying to play that way.
Well, it could be one of those, the ends justifies the means. If West Brom can stay up in the Premier League this season, they will take the less attractive football. I guess there's probably nothing more dismal than playing dull football and also getting relegated. I mean, if you're going to go down with a bit of a flourish.
Well, it's early days. I mean, I do not think Sam will do this all the way through the season. I think there are certain games where he'll say, okay, if I get something out of this, it's a very, very limited chance. But as you say, he doesn't want his team absolutely hammered. Had they played really, really open, he could be about 4 or 5 down already.
West Brom, by the way, 5 points adrift of safety as things stand. Curtis Jones plays a ball towards the edge of the penalty area to Mo Salah. Back again to Jones, 5 yards outside the box. He's got Henderson available out wide. This is all first touch football from Liverpool. Delivery from Alexander-Arnold is headed off target by Mo Salah. I mean, a chance like that in a normal match, Pat, where we go, oh, a big chance for Liverpool. It's just because it's happening all the time. You always can't get excited about it.
Absolutely consistent. And there's another way of looking at it. You know, they're getting into these positions, you know, right-hand side, left-hand side, putting good crosses in. In some ways, it's not absolutely that difficult to put a cross in because you're getting the ball all the time in those areas. What Liverpool really want to do is get into the byline between the 6-yard line, the 18-yard line, and cut it back. Then the defenders have got themselves upset. They don't know where to position themselves. And that last 10 or 15 minutes is what West Brom have managed to stop. And I think that's the one thing that Sam will be delighted about just now. They're getting crosses in, but they're from wider and slightly deeper at the moment.
Remember, they did get a draw against Manchester City not so long ago, and they've also drawn with Chelsea. 1-0 West Brom trail here at Anfield, closing stages of the first half. There's a crossed wires there, ball was played forward, intended for Curtis Jones, who didn't quite realise that he was intended to sprint onto that, so it goes out. In fact, it's kept in play. I thought it was going to go for a goal kick. Kept in play by the goalkeeper, Sam Johnson, away to our left-hand side. Liverpool, by the way, 3 away games back-to-back after this. They travel to Newcastle on Wednesday. Then they've got Southampton the following Monday. And then a trip to face Aston Villa in the FA Cup. That is Friday, the 8th of January. Aston Villa, Pat, have been very interesting this season. They've become a team to watch.
Yeah, I've mentioned the other day there that no one was talking about it, and I thought, wait a minute, you've got 2 games in hand. You win those 2 in hand and you're right up there. And they've had an absolutely superb season. I felt sorry for them last season because last season I think it was a difficult start for them. But if they stayed up, I thought it would be a good season. I still think it will be a very good season. Top half at the very least.
Yeah. And Jack Grealish has gone from strength to strength. Here is Robertson down the left-hand side for Liverpool. The cross is cleared away by Darryl Shea, falling back into his own 6-yard box as he does so. Liverpool come again. Henderson down that same left wing. Romain Sawyers leaning into him, forcing him out towards the corner flag. Sawyers has done well. He's won the ball back off Jordan Henderson, and then he does a back heel to Furlong, and Henderson blocks it out for a goal kick. And you can get the ball off Jordan Henderson, but that's no guarantee he'll clear it away. He will not give up.
Yeah, I mean, he's been everywhere. It's typical Jordan Henderson game. But the other one I'm looking at is Sawyers. If I'm talking about work rate, I don't know if anyone's put in more than him. And I think Sam Allardyce would look at him and think, I wish I had like 8 of him on the pitch just now, because he will tackle, he will chase, he doesn't ever seem to lose concentration either, does the right things all the time. He's probably been the most important player for West Brom in the game so far.
We're going to have 4 minutes added on for stoppages at the end of the... No, sorry, I was going to say 4. It couldn't be 4. It's 1 minute being added on for stoppages. Here comes Curtis Jones towards the edge of the West Brom penalty area. Romain Sawyers intercepts him.
Well done, Sawyers again there. It was actually him that gave the ball away. But he went back there, made a very good tackle at a dangerous moment.
And a good pass as well to pick out Carlin Grant on the left wing for West Brom. Could they put a cat amongst the pigeons here? Could they nick an equaliser in stoppages ahead of half-time, having absorbed so much pressure in this first half? For once, it's Liverpool who dropped deep here. Mo Salah up top, everyone else well back behind the ball, as Diangana, who's had a quiet first half, has it on the left-hand side. The former West Ham United player, no way down the left for him. West Brom come infield. Grant with a good smart turn to get away from Wijnaldum, and then he rolls in front of Phillips. Here's the chance. Oh, unselfish from Phillips. Should he have gone for goal himself? He tried to cross and pick out a teammate. That by far was West Brom's best opportunity of the first half, and they don't get a shot on target to test Alisson. What did you make of that, Pat Nevin?
It was offside. Sorry to count.
It wouldn't have counted anyway.
It wouldn't have counted. But you're right. It was the best break. No, you're spot on. It's the best break. Because you go down the inside left channel there, he just went half a yard too early. But he's got into the right area. And you're absolutely spot on. What's he doing cutting that across there? He's got to go for goal in that position. However, it was offside. And that would have been an utter travesty had they scored there, because this has been one of the most one-sided matches I've watched in many, many years. However, it's still only 1-0.
Yeah, Liverpool have had their 84% of possession in that first half. Sadio Mane has scored the goal. But Gigi, do you know the last time that Sam Allardyce won a Premier League game away from home after his team conceded the first goal? It was here at Anfield, that Crystal Palace game in April 2017. So this one isn't over yet.
You see, it's something else to give those West Brom fans hope. On Twitter, social media, Richard, if West Brom get any deeper, they're going to be in the River Mersey. Shaq, 11 men camped in their box. Welcome, Big Sam. Give me Leeds and Bielsa ball any day. So that's pretty much the theme of things. Andrew, I know Big Sam has built his reputation on pragmatic tactics that get results, but there isn't a single route out of defence. He's missing the attack portion of counter-attack. And Pat, some people on social media are saying, shocking tactics. Why did they even bother turning up? But is anybody surprised with what West Brom, with what Sam Allardyce is doing at Liverpool? They're going to try and keep this scoreline respectable.
Yeah, look, I've watched, as I say, West Brom since the beginning of the season. Player for player, they're going down. You know, it's not been horrible or anything, just not good enough player for player. Sam Allardyce has come along and he spotted that and he said, OK, they're not good enough. I'll see if I can find a way of surviving until I can make the adaptations that I want to make, be that with tactics, be that more likely with personnel come January. So I think that's what it's all about more than anything else. I will take issue with any further backup being the Mersey. That's the other end, that's behind the Kop. Stanley Park for this one. Local knowledge here. But in reality, I don't blame Sam for doing it. I really don't. It's horrible to watch. It's even more horrible, and I know this is going to sound harsh for fans watching it, it's even more horrible playing when you know your manager doesn't believe in you as a group to be able to go and attack as a group. So, if they get beat, 2-3-0, he'll almost take it in the chin. I think he's looked at what's happened at Palace and thought, 7? It could be more than that if we're open. And considering how incredibly deep they've been with 10 people defending in their box half of the time, or more than half of the time, had he not done that, and they've already made about 10, 11, 12 chances, it could have been that number. It is a catch-22 for Sam. He wants to get this one out of the way. And if he sneaked a goal and got a draw, it would be the biggest look in the world. Nothing more than that.
Yeah, Connor, it seems fairly sensible from West Brom. They conceded early on, 12 minutes in, refused to come out and chase the game. They probably knew if they did that, we don't know, it would be like a basketball cricket score by the end of things. They're playing a 6-4-0 formation, but despite all this, they don't seem to be getting tight enough, and Liverpool were easily finding space.
Yeah, I mean, look, the stat that sums up the first half, Gigi, is that the most passes in the first half for Liverpool, Jordan Henderson, he had 96 passes in that first half. The player with the most passes for West Brom was their goalkeeper, Sam Johnson. So that absolutely tells it. And I think the River Mersey thing isn't wrong, by the way. Your correspondent meant that they're so deep they've circumnavigated the globe and come up on the other side of Anfield, away to our other side. And that is so deep, so deep. But it's only 1-0.
It certainly is. 45 minutes to come. Gentlemen, stay warm. But now here on 5 Live, Premier League Sunday, we've still got Wolves Spurs to come in full a little bit later, but with the time at 20 minutes past 5, let's get some news with Helen Place.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
5 Live news headlines. There's a warning that Scottish health services could be overwhelmed after the Christmas easing of coronavirus restrictions. The Scottish Academy of Medical Royal Colleges and Faculties says with the new fast-spreading strain, it could be a perfect storm. The Scottish Government says it's boosting NHS capacity. Storm Bella has disrupted travel across the UK. Over 100 flood warnings are in place throughout the country. And the Met Office says snow and ice could exacerbate the problems this evening. The Welsh Grand National at Chepstow was called off due to a waterlogged course. The track's executive director is Phil Bell.
There's only one part of the course that's unraceable. 90% of it is fine. So we're choked because we got so close. If the whole course was underwater, it's almost easier to handle. But when it's just one small section after you've had so much rain, it's just a bit frustrating.
Labour has accused the government of failing to protect the UK's financial services industry in its Brexit trade deal. The Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, insists he's committing to making the City of London the best place in the world to do business. The chairman of Tesco says the trade agreement with the EU will stop price rises in supermarkets. John Allen predicted it would go up by 5% with no deal, but now customers will hardly notice any change. A 15-year-old boy is critically injured after he was hit by a police car in Stockport. Officers were responding to a domestic incident last night. And the former US wrestler, John Huber, known as Brody Lee or Luke Harper, has died at the age of 41. His wife said it was due to a non-COVID-related lung issue.
Coming up in 2021 on 5 Live
and 5 Live Sports Extra.
Live commentaries of domestic and international football.
Plays it towards Bale! And Gareth Bale has headed in!
The Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics.
They really are streets ahead of the rest of the world, and they have come out and shown it at this Olympic Games.
International and domestic cricket.
Flicks this straight over mid-wicket, 6 runs. Dispatched there.
The Six Nations.
What a finish. Brilliant try.
BBC Radio 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra.
The voice of sport.
Listen on BBC Sounds. More live Premier League football than anyone else.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday.
Earlier today, West Ham came from behind twice to rescue a point against Brighton. The game finished 2-2 at the London Stadium. It means Brighton had to settle for a 5th draw in their past 8 games and are just 2 points above the relegation zone in 16th. Manager Graham Potter has been speaking to 5 Live Sports' George Cummins.
Just sum up how you're feeling. Is that a case of, are you frustrated really that you haven't won here today?
Yeah, I am. I thought from an away performance it was quite strong. I think we were probably the closer team to getting the 3 points in terms of how we wanted to play, and we did a lot well in the game. So yeah, we're disappointed to see the second, which is ultimately what takes the points away for us. I thought we were the better team first half and deserved to go in ahead. I think we could have maybe been a bit smarter and increased our dominance in the game, but again, it's West Ham are in a good moment. They're not a bad Premier League side by any stretch, so you'd always expect them to have some bits of the game, but I thought we restricted them to not too much. So that's why overall, when you look at the performance overall, it was an opportunity for us for 3 points, and whilst we take the point and we have to move on, we're still a little bit disappointed.
Do you think it was a case of sort of sloppy defending for the 2 goals?
Yeah, it was a bit too cheap. It felt, scoring is so hard. So you want to make the opposition work, and I don't think we did that well enough, and that's something for us to improve.
How about West Ham? Let's get the reaction of manager David Moyes.
David, just sum up that point. Is it a good point in the end, considering the slow start?
I think it was a good point because of the way we started, and the positives are, a resilient West Ham coming back and not buckling when maybe it looked like it wasn't going to be our day. But we tried, we pushed to find other solutions, and in the end we got a solution which at least got us a point from the game.
What did you say to the players at half-time?
Well, I wasn't happy. I wasn't shouting, but I wasn't happy because it was nothing like the level or the intensity which we've had here. But the players have been good. It's difficult to blame them. Maybe the way we set up didn't allow us to get as close to them as I'd like. But I tried to alter that in the second half, and thank goodness it got better.
Thomas Souček's proving a real asset for you, isn't he? He loves a headed goal. I think that's his 6th this season.
Yeah, well, and I have to find a way of getting him in the box more often. So I need to find a ways, because he's got that ability to arrive in, and he had another header late on which could have made it 3-2, but keeper caught it. Yeah, he's a really good player. He's someone who we value.
Should Lewis Dunk's goal have stood? What was your take on the situation?
I thought if it hadn't stood, it would have been really harsh on Lewis Dunk, but I think it's a handball, and unless they're going to come and explain to me the reasons why this isn't given, I need to know why it hits his forearm bounces down to help him score. Our defender heads it onto his arm, so I don't know what the rules is then, what I don't know what the explanation would be.
I don't think you're alone. Do you think that other managers, it's just all too confusing at the moment, the handball rule?
Well, I've nearly got to the stage where I've nearly given up being angry, and I think that's bad when the managers don't want to be disappointed or angry with it, because somewhere someone feels that didn't hit his arm. That's the only thing, because if it hits his arm, the rules are if it leads to a goal right away it should be chopped off. I've got to say, at the time I thought it was a goal. I never for a minute thought it was anything other than a goal when I stand on the touchline, but I've had a chance to see it again, and it definitely, he heads it onto his arm. So if the rules are what they are, I hope they're big enough to come out and explain why it's not, because quite often we actually don't get good explanations or proper explanations about the rules, and it's making it really difficult for us all to know what's right and wrong.
David Moyes, West Ham manager. Now, Leeds won the other Premier League game today. They beat Burnley 1-0 thanks to a Patrick Bamford penalty. Sean Dyche wasn't happy with the referee in that one either. And you can see all the action this evening on Match of the Day 2 from 10:30. We still have one more commentary coming up for you on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. It is Wolves against Spurs from 7:15, and Alistair Bruce Ball is at Molineux for us. Now, Ali, while Christmas, as we know, is a very important time on the pitch, it's also a crucial time for our fantasy football teams. Is yours having a happy Christmas?
Mo Salah is my captain, Gigi. I don't know if you have a team, or even if you're part of our league, and if you're not, then I'm going to send you the code this evening to make sure that you join. But I could do with Mo Salah getting stuck in the second half at Anfield. That's all I'll say.
You could do with him not moving to Barcelona or Real Madrid in the January transfer window also.
Yes, otherwise then there's going to have to be some transfer action in my team.
There certainly is.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to getting the code, and I would happily join that league, although I'm not very good. I just always forget, and then I end up with it's bad. So no. To the match that you're doing this evening, Wolves against Spurs. Big news today, because we've got an update on Raul Jimenez's progress after that horrible head injury in the match against Arsenal with David Luiz.
Yes, he's going to be here this evening, and I'm sitting in my seat right now, and I've not laid eyes on him as yet, but I'm sure he will only arrive shortly before kick-off. He has been a regular visitor to the training ground, so let's not forget, I think it was end of November that he suffered that horrific head injury, went to hospital, fractured skull. There's a permanent reminder of him and how much he means to this club and the fans here, because there's this giant banner that the Wolves fans paid for that sits directly opposite us in the stadium. So I'm sure when he sees that in the flesh, it will give him great heart as well. I guess the point being, in terms of the game we're going to watch, Gigi, Wolves obviously miss him. He is a world-class striker. They have only scored 14 goals in their Premier League games this season. And if you look at the Premier League table, it is only the bottom 4 teams that have scored fewer. So they've been as good as normal, really, at the back, but their games are always very tight. They are struggling to score this season.
Talking about world-class strikers, we know that Spurs got back to winning ways in the League Cup against Stoke midweek after back-to-back league defeats. But it doesn't seem a coincidence that in those 2 league defeats, Harry Kane was fairly quiet, because it's not just what he's doing in the opposition box, he's also doing an awful lot in his own box.
He is, and you do feel at some point, and I wouldn't have thought this evening, we'll wait and see when we get the team news, that he is going to need a break, particularly if you consider his injury record, Gigi, in recent seasons. Tottenham cannot afford to be without him for any length of time. I did that game against Leicester, their last Premier League defeat, and I have to say, as a team, actually, they did look tired, although Harry Kane, in a couple of situations in the second half, wriggled out of tight spots, got good shots away, as he always does. At some point, he's going to need a break, but saying that, all the competitions are important. He started the League Cup game against Stoke, scored a goal that helped them get to the semi-final. I'd expect him to start tonight.
Ali, thank you. Stay warm, and Ali will be back with Clinton Morrison a little bit later for Wolves against Spurs. You're going to get commentary of that match here on 5 Live Premier League Sunday from 7:15. Now, elsewhere today, there was defeat for the double champion chaser Altior in the big race at Kempton. On his season's return, he came second to 20-1 outsider Nuba Negra. Altior's trainer Nicky Henderson has ruled out retirement for his star chaser for now. In tennis, Andy Murray's been given a wild card to the Australian Open, which will take take place in February for the very first time. We've got live cricket on 5 Live Sports Extra tonight. Day 3 of the second test between Australia and India at the MCG. Now, India will resume on 277 for 5. That's a first innings lead so far of 82. And New Zealand captain Kane Williamson reached his 23rd test century on day 2 of the first test against Pakistan. They were all out for 431. Pakistan 30 for 1 in reply. Right, it is time for us to return to Anfield for the second half of Liverpool against West Brom. I did know earlier that Pat said he would hand over his heater not in the second half but in a different match. So Connor, you're probably still cold. Pat, you're nice and toasty. And I think I know the answer to this, but do we expect to see anything different from West Brom in the second half?
Yeah, I think they might drop a wee bit deeper because they're playing in front of the Kop, and the Kop's got 2,000 fans in it. So I think maybe, you know those free kicks you get from like 7 yards out when everyone stands along the line? That's that's the next step. That's the obvious, logical conclusion to the way they're playing just now. But certainly the case that at some point they will have to have a little bit of a go. And I was saying to Connor just at half time there is a possibility that you try and play hold it until the last 10 and then have a little bit of a go. And you know what? It's a possibility. It's unlikely, but it's still a possibility. Connor, how's that heater going?
So, Gigi, I've got to tell you, Pat has given me the heater over half-time.
Has he?
It's like a zombie movie. I'm now one of them. I've been bitten. I am now looking at everyone who doesn't have one, and I'm laughing, right? I've been absorbed into the heater cult.
Hey, by the way, Juliet Farrington has already looked it up online. She's going to get one too.
There is no going back. Right. Unlike West Brom, there is no going back because there's been a lot of going back for them. Underway in the second half at Anfield. Liverpool lead thanks to Sadio Mane's goal to nil. This uber defensive performance from Sam Allardyce's team. He's now been in charge of West Brom for 3 halves of a football match, a game and a half. In those 3 halves of Premier League football under Sam Allardyce, West Brom have had a grand total of 2 shots, which I think tells you an awful lot about the way that they are set up. But can it bring any sort of result here against Liverpool? Mane here tries to go into the penalty area. Liverpool back on the attack in the early stages of the second half. Wijnaldum to Henderson on the edge of the box, and his shot's deflected marginally wide. Liverpool nearly scoring inside the opening minute of the second half, and Henderson's shot veers away just off target. The keeper wouldn't have been anywhere near it if it had crept in.
Shock news, they've changed the system. It's 4-5-1. Grant is actually staying up the field now. Now this wasn't happening in the first half. It was just everyone dropping behind it. But on this occasion, Liverpool attacked the Kop there. Grant didn't go back, he stayed up front.
In the first half, Jordan Henderson completed almost twice as many passes as the entire West Brom team combined. That is how one-sided this match has been. However, Sam Allardyce will say, well, there's only the 1 goal in it. And that will be the fruit of his tactics, in his opinion, as Alexander-Arnold crosses for Liverpool on the right-hand side. Liverpool attacking the Kop end in this second period. I'll give you a full rundown of the teams in just a moment. Let's do it now as the ball goes out of play. Alisson Becker, the Brazilian goalkeeper, plays behind the back 4 of Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Fabinho and Robertson. 3 in the midfield, Henderson, Wijnaldum and Jones. And then 3 up front, Salah, Firmino and Mane. Jones and Salah, the 2 changes from the team that started the 7-0 win against Crystal Palace. The West Brom side, well, they were beaten at home 3-0 last time out against Aston Villa. That was last Sunday. Jake Livermore is suspended for this one, so Callum Robinson has started instead. He's pretty much been playing as a right-back, Robinson, which is somewhat out of position for him, normally an attacking player, but that's been the way it has been. As Matip clears away for Liverpool up to the halfway line, and Salah for once an uncertain touch, and Diangana will get it off him. And West Brom have got possession. Give you the West Brom team in full in just a moment. Gallagher rolls it in front of Diangana, crossing position on the left. Matip comes across, very strong defending. Diangana thought he was fouled. The referee says it's a fair challenge, and Liverpool come away with possession. So Sam Johnston plays behind Furlong, Ajayi, O'Shea and Gibbs as the de facto back 4. But they've been joined by Romain Sawyers and Conor Gallagher, Callum Robinson on the right-hand side, Matt Phillips, Grady Diangana and Karlan Grant, who has not scored in his last 8 appearances and hasn't even had scraps to feed off here in this game. Henderson plays it forward for Liverpool, looking for Mane. Furlong backpedaling well on the edge of the box, is able to head it away. Remains Sawyers to Grant, and a very good pass out to the right wing to Callum Robinson, who'll attack down the right here for West Brom. Tries to play it infield. Fabinho makes a good block, and West Brom have been held up here in busy traffic inside the Liverpool half. Remains Sawyers, back to Gallagher, back to Ajayi. And it does feel like West Brom are a little bit more positive here, Pat.
Definitely, 100%. They're all getting on the field a little bit quicker.
Furlong's cross, looking for Phillips, and out comes Alisson, and that's one of the first times in the game that Alisson has had to break a sweat.
Yeah, slightly under pressure, but yeah, you're absolutely right. This looks like a more normal looking outfit. It is a 4-5-1. We had a discussion before the game, and we're trying to see what the system would be before the teams come out, and you were absolutely insistent it would be 4 in the back, and I said I can't see Sam doing that. It's got to be 5. We were both wrong. It was 6. So in this second half here, it's not like that now. Actually, as I said, they're leaving one up, and it does look like a 5-4-1, sometimes a 4-5-1 at the moment.
Do you notice? So Everton last night played at Sheffield United, and they've got, not by design because they've had injuries in fullbacks, but they've got 4 recognised central defenders, and it's almost like that's what Sam Allardyce is trying to do here. His regular back 4 are playing the way a back 3 would do. It's a back 4 with wing backs. As Salah attacks the penalty area for Liverpool. The 1-2 from Bobby Firmino nearly comes back to him, but it just squirts in front of Mo Salah, and Sam Johnson's able to collect it. If anything, Liverpool trying to be a bit too intricate there.
Yeah, but it's much more open. There's a little bit more space there they can get through, so you suspect that there will be more clear-cut chances for Liverpool in this second half. Yeah, talking about that back 4 centre-backs, Stoke did this years ago. Stoke were really notable for doing that for a long, long time. And it's an accepted method within the Premier League that certain teams will do that. I don't think, as you say, Everton want to do that. And I was at the Manchester United game against Everton the other night there. Coleman played, and it wasn't like that at all when they had, a full-back available.
Yes, they've Luca Digne out injured at the moment, Everton. He's been a good supplier of crosses for them, but young Ben Godfrey, the centre half they summoned from Norwich in the summer, has done very well at left back in his absence. Here at Anfield, West Brom have got an attacking throw-in. Now, they've not had many of these, so they'll want to use it. Darnell Furlong is taking as long as a run he can. It's up the little hill to the pitch level at Anfield, throws it in. Fabinho backpedaling on the edge of the 6-yard box, gets ahead on it. Mane tries to fully clear it. West Brom get it back again just outside the Liverpool box. Gallagher, though, has got to give it back to O'Shea, back to the halfway line, but they do hold on to possession here, the visitors. And now, across on the right-hand side for Furlong, controlled well by Grant, and he gets a shot on target, and it's the first shot in anger that they have mustered in this match, West Bromwich Albion. It's saved by Alisson straight into his stomach, but that is better, and it is evidence that West Brom are coming out of their shell a little bit. They still trail 1-0.
Yeah, real willingness. I mean, they're going to get back as a unit as quickly as they possibly can, but this is showing a better attitude.
Mane, crossing position on the left, tries to pull it low to the edge of the box. He was looking for Andy Robertson. West Brom are able to clear it away, up to Carlin Grant. Shoulder charge from Joel Matip, and the ball goes out of play for a throw-in to West Brom, and that'll move them up into the Liverpool half. Is it a throw-in or is it a free kick? I think it's going to be a free kick to West Brom, just inside their own half. Grant there, no, it's not. It's the way the ball was thrown on the ground, it looked like it was going to be a free kick. It will be a throw near the centre circle. So Liverpool 1, West Bromwich Albion 0. West Brom second from bottom in the Premier League table. Even if they won here, it wouldn't bring them above third from bottom Fulham, but it would bring them to within 2 points of safety. And Sam Allardyce, who, when he took charge of Sunderland, they were 5 points adrift of safety. That's where they are at the moment, and he did keep them up that year. Another throw-in opportunity here for Darnell Furlong, and you mentioned Stoke a minute ago, Pat. He's going to do his best Rory Delap impersonation here.
Absolutely, and it is a dangerous one that they can put in there. They've got a little bit of height, but actually when I say a little bit, a very little bit, only 1 or 2 in there with height, but it could go anywhere.
Yeah, Ajayi's gone forward. He's the tallest of them. Here comes the throw, flicked on by Ajayi. Fabinho, though, for Liverpool gets it somewhat away out of the penalty area anyway. Furlong's going to get another opportunity to cross here from the right-hand side onto his less favoured left boot. Phillips with the flick on. It's still not away, and Matip, whether he meant that, it's a calming header straight back to the goalkeeper, and that relieves all the pressure for Liverpool. They still lead 1-0.
Did you ever think you were going to say that phrase in the first half? It relieves all the pressure for Liverpool. And it's totally different, and it's good to see. Maybe that would have been part of the game plan, trying to hold Liverpool tight. Maybe they'd have not exactly run out of juice, but the liveliness kind of run out of them slightly.
And maybe Pat, not just them trying to run their opponent out of juice, but maybe, as you said in the first half, make sure that West Brom themselves don't run out of juice. They have conserved their energy with those rope-it-up tactics in the first half. Here's another cross into the penalty area. Phillips wasn't able to turn. Diangana tries to shoot, and the referee has spotted something. Oh, it's an offside flag on the far side. It wouldn't have counted anyway, but listen to that noise. That is slightly disgruntled Liverpool fans wondering, now that they're attacking the Kop end, why isn't this as free-flowing from their team as the first half was? Since the start of the second half, we've only had 8 minutes, but West Brom have been the better team.
This is typical of good football fans, though. They are saying, right, OK, we've got a little bit of danger now. We get behind the team now. There was a groan, you're absolutely right. But then they started singing Liverpool, and they know that they need to get behind their team. They would like to get that extra goal. And if they get, if they go 2-0 up, for whatever they're doing just now, West Brom, you couldn't see them coming back from that. But the fans are getting behind them. They might need to.
Yeah, next goal of the game is absolutely crucial. If Liverpool get it, you would imagine it's curtains for West Brom. If West Brom get it, well, then it's going to be absolutely intriguing. But that Carlin Grant shot's been their only attempt on target so far, so let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Improvement from West Brom, but they've a hell of a long way to go. Curtis Jones infield to Van Alden, 10 yards outside the West Brom penalty area. To the right-hand side is Alexander Arnold, number 66 on his back. 66 Premier League games since Liverpool were last beaten at home in the top flight. Down goes Romain Sawyers. Free kick to West Brom. Sawyers thought about taking it quickly and then says, no, hang on a minute. Let's get set. And he's going to leave it for the goalkeeper, Sam Johnson, behind him. West Brom, who've lost 10 of their last 14 away games in the Premier League. A stretch back to their last time in the top flight. They've only won 5 of their last 50. Everything is, within reason, has got to be taken in that context. Johnson pumps it along over the back of the Liverpool defence. Diangana put pressure here in. Oh, he's done really well against Alexander Arnold, Diangana, to keep that in play. And he's got a trick as well through the legs, I think, of Alexander Arnold. He'll have enjoyed that, and it sums up the confidence that West Brom are now playing with, as Gallagher's unlucky to give it away in the edge of the box, and Matip will counter-attack up to the halfway line. Again, the idea of Liverpool counter-attacking is something we couldn't countenance in the first half. It didn't seem possible. Here is Dara O'Shea. Now he's been put under pressure, and Henderson has picked the pocket, and here come Liverpool, and a very good tackle from O'Shea to win the... Oh, I thought it was a good tackle. Referee says no, he's caught in. It's going to be a free kick. It's going to be a yellow card too, and that was a bit over-enthusiastic from the West Bromwich Albion central defender.
Well, I was with your first reaction to it. I thought it was a very nice, clean tackle with his right foot. The question is, did he then follow through with the trailing left foot? And maybe that's what the referee's seen. He's right beside it there, and there is a bit of a follow through there. He's not done studs or anything like that, but I think he's a wee bit harshly done to it. That was a foul, probably no more than that, because it was he got the ball quite clean. Harsh.
That is the first booking of the game. West Brom, who played most of their last match with only 10 men after Jake Livermore was sent off after only 37 minutes against Aston Villa, and they lost at 3-0. And they also had a player sent off, Mateus Pereira, when they were heavily beaten 5-1 by Crystal Palace. They've got to keep 11 players on the pitch here at Anfield. That is beyond doubt for West Brom, trailing by 1-0 here. There are 56 minutes on the clock. Alexander Arnold floats the free kick into the penalty area. O'Shea wins the header. Romain Sawyers holds off Henderson on the edge of the box and gives it to Matt Phillips on the right-hand side. Can West Brom counter-attack here? Phillips plays a 1-2 with Callum Robinson. That's not bad. And Robinson's released again down the right-hand side. Now Carlin Grant is in the middle. Here comes the cross. Well blocked. First of all by Fabinho, and then Matip. And they're a bit lucky as it then ricochets into the arms of Alisson Becker. But very good defending initially there by Fabinho. And West Brom's attempts to counter-attack are snuffed out, and then because Matip has picked up a knock, I think he's winded more than anything else. Curtis Jones has put the ball out of play, so he might need some
I think he's got a groin strain. I think it may be worse than that. There's a real concern about him now, the way he's going down.
They don't want to lose any more central defenders to Liverpool.
That's why I say it with that kind of concerned sort of viewpoint. I mean, he's got some self in a great position there, but he's had to stretch really far out to get to that ball. And because he's stretched, he's put his hand up right away and said, nope, I've got a problem here. You know, and if the hand goes up with that right away, he's concerned. He's very concerned about that. And certain types of strains in certain areas, if you get them there, you can't take a chance. Or it's dangerous to take a chance, because you could make that worse, and you could make something that's a week or two, 6 weeks. So It's one of those. I think they'll have to seriously think what they can do now.
Just a break in play here, early stages in the second half. Liverpool leading West Brom by 1-0. Well, we've got a break in play, Pat, actually, and an opportunity to ask you about Jim McLean, the legendary Dundee United manager who's passed away at the age of 83. I mean, for any listeners too young to remember, he had quite the career.
Oh, phenomenal. You think about it, Celtic Rangers controlled everything for so many years, and back doing so again now. But there was a period of time when Aberdeen and Dundee United were the new firm, the new teams, and Dundee United got to win the Scottish Championship when Aberdeen did it, obviously under Sir Alec a few times as well. But Dundee United, for a period of time there, they were not only a powerhouse in Scotland, they were a powerhouse in Europe. Getting to the semi-finals of the European Cup and getting to the final of the UEFA Cup. They were unlucky to lose, and it was Jim McLean's behind that, and he's seen very much as an old school manager I'm watching Sam there, barking his orders, and Jim was like that, and he tried to sign me twice. Actually tried to sign me 13 as a schoolboy, and tried to sign me from Clyde early in my career, and I'm not sure I was the right personality for him because of the strength of personality that he had, but there's no doubt that he built a brilliant club at Dundee United, and I think a lot of people will be saddened, and his brothers particularly, two great names. Tommy McLean was a great winger for Rangers, and his brother, they were a fantastic family of football, and the fact that one of them has now gone now is a real sadness.
Yep, Jim McLean, the legendary Dundee United manager who's passed away at the age of 83. Very nice tribute there from Pat Nevitt here on 5 Live as we prepare to get back underway. Right, Liverpool have been forced to make a change for that injury to Joel Matip. So there's no Van Dijk, there's no Gomez. Suddenly Joel Matip has joined the centre halves on the treatment table list for Liverpool, and it's young Rhys Williams, the teenager, who comes on for his second appearance in the Premier League. Made his Premier League debut against Tottenham a couple of weeks ago. 19-year-old from Preston, and in partnering Fabinho. So they've got a teenager and a guy who's normally a midfielder, and that is the Liverpool central defence now.
And you should maybe have a little bit of a go. At that point in time, you're thinking, wait a minute, is there ever a better time considering what they've got in the central defence, but they need to get the ball first.
Sparkling back heel there by Roberto Firmino to pick out Mo Salah inside the penalty area. Alexander-Arnold loses the ball though on the edge of the box, and Conor Gallagher clears it away. Up towards Karlan Grant, Rhys Williams gives away a free kick. First time he's been involved since coming on. And that is a foul on Grant.
I think we can safely say Jurgen Klopp didn't agree with that decision there. He's jumping about like a madman there. I think he actually may get a yellow card for his reaction there. It was an extraordinary reaction they had there. It was almost John Cleese-esque.
Well, it's cold because Jurgen Klopp has put on a coat that is almost of Arsene Wenger dimensions. If it was 6 inches longer, it would be the sleeping bag coat. And you're right, he was not happy with that. And again, I think
we're going to see it now, and I'm just watching it in front of me. He's going mad.
But isn't that typical Klopp? He is there. He realises he's got this kid who's gone in. His first challenge, he's given away a free kick, and rather than have the kid feel bad about it, he'll bellow at the referee and actually try to keep the confidence high in the player.
Yeah, even though the referee was right in this case.
Of course he was.
Just an off the ball there, and I think that was a complete mistake. It's Conor Gallagher and Wijnaldum there, but there's nothing in that. Well done, Conor Gallagher. Goes up, smiles, taps him on the shoulder. But it was just a final word there. I was talking about Jim McLean and Tom and Willie McLean as well. Willie worked with me in Motherwell my time there, and a football and family like no other in Scotland.
Liverpool 1, West Bromwich Albion 0 here in a second half of a game that has not been as one-sided on the scoreboard as we thought it was going to be, but maybe things will change now. Robertson in the penalty area tries to shoot for Liverpool. Tight angle from the left-hand side, and enough defenders in the way to block it. Flag was raised anyway, wouldn't have counted. Offside, and a free kick to West Brom, who are slowly but surely growing in stature in the game. And from being a complete walk in the park for Liverpool in the first half, there is now a sense of trepidation, just a little bit, for the Liverpool fans who want to see this second goal now to make sure this is going to be okay.
Well, it's a game of football on now, as opposed to attacking against defence. And there's a number of reasons for it. The biggest reason is West Brom have actually left a player up front. So when they get the ball and they clear it, there's an outside possibility that one of their players might be able to chase it. and it's Grant at the moment, and it's made a massive difference. Now, it's not just the tactical difference, it's something else other than that. It's a psychological difference. If you're playing and you don't think your manager believes in you and there's nobody up front, it is soul destroying. But if he suddenly says, actually, let's have a little bit of a go now and put somebody up there, you get a spring in your step, a little bit of belief in your heart that you'll be able to do it, and that more than anything else is what's changed West Brom, and not just the attitude of like one or two players, but the entire team.
Liverpool 1, West Brom 0. Here is Alexander-Arnold playing up like a right winger, veering infield and challenged by Romain Sawyers, who wins it back for West Brom, and now he's played a through ball which Grant will chase after, but too much on it, and Allison is able to sprint out of his penalty area and clear the ball away. Earlier on we brought you Leeds 1, Burnley 0. That was the 12 noon kickoff in the Premier League. Bamford's penalty against his old club. Then at 2:15 it finished West Ham 2, Brighton 2. West Ham twice came from behind in that exciting game. Later on this evening we've got more Premier League action at 7:15. Commentary on Wolves against Tottenham. Two teams who could do with the win in that one, actually. One league win in 4 matches for Wolves, one league win in 5 for Tottenham. As here comes Salah on the attack down the right hand side for Liverpool. Can they get the second goal cushion here? Ajayi clears it out for a corner. Wasn't going to do any fancy stuff there on the edge of his own 6-yard box. He's just side-footed it out for a corner.
Yeah, it's a bit of a panic there when it goes in, but if you get Mo Salah going down the right hand side, you know that he can cut onto his left foot there. Tried to play the pass into the middle. Wasn't a great one from Mo Salah, not absolutely his best, but it did lead to panic and the corner kick for Liverpool.
Liverpool fans in the Kop trying to drum up encouragement for their team. Liverpool attacking the Kop end in this second half. Robertson's delivery, Van Nalden was at the back post, but he was well marshalled. Kieran Gibbs was the defender nearest to him and made sure there wouldn't be a free header. Mane now has it inside the penalty area, up against Darnell Furlong, who holds him up. Now a cross comes in and Salah's header is up and over the top. Another Liverpool chance, but not on target.
And that's actually a really good chance there, because he actually wasn't getting pushed at all there. The ball was landed right on his head. He should be able to get that on target at the very, very least, but he's just let it hit off his head, gone 2 or 3 feet over the top of the net and straight into the Kop there. So it's another chance for Liverpool, but I'm not saying it's an even game, but it's a more even game by a distance. There was a moment just before when West Brom broke. On the right-hand side, Robinson got himself in an incredible position going forward. He wasn't spotted, but that's the first time I thought, actually, Liverpool, you look as if you could be cut open in the break here. So, as you've said before, almost not unbelieving, this game actually isn't over yet.
By the way, after the Wolves-Tottenham game tonight, we've got 6:06 on 5 Live. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton will be taking your calls across what's been a very busy couple of days in the Premier League, and it will continue to be so through the new year. Games pretty much every night now. By the way, in the first half, I said that Match of the Day was 11:20 tonight. It's 10:30. Don't know where I got that wrong. 10:30, Match of the Day 2 on BBC 1 to catch the highlights of all the Premier League action. And here is Conor Gallagher midway inside his own half for West Brom, attacking the Anfield Road end. Away at Liverpool, Reece Williams gets a head start on Karlan Grant and can roll it back to Alisson. I mean, it's a much better game here in the second half. The first half was one-way traffic, and to be honest, West Brom were nullifying it. They were just killing the game. Whereas now they've come out and played a little bit, and they're not actually getting swamped by Liverpool. They're able to bring it into the Liverpool app on occasion.
I think they'll also be lifted a little bit. You know, the youngster playing at centre-back there. First time I've really seen a decent amount of him. He's obviously a good player because he plays for Liverpool, but unusual lolloping stride he's got. We'll see how quick he is. We might find out.
Gallagher will play it forward. Good positioning from Reece Williams means he doesn't have to sprint and he can roll it back. You're right, he's got an unusual running gait. He's like, I mean, he's only a teenager. It's like the top half of his body hasn't quite grown as quickly as his strong legs have.
It's one of those ones where you think, because he's got big long stride, he'll probably eat up the ground. He doesn't look quick, but he's probably quicker than he looks.
Absolutely. And here he is playing in the Premier League for the second time for Liverpool. Reece Williams, as Robertson has crept forward here, and again unselfish, he headed it across the face of goal, and there was no one on the end of it for Liverpool, and Sam Johnson comes out and gathers. The Liverpool goal seems a long time ago now. It came after 12 minutes of the match. We've now reached the midway point of the second half, pretty much exactly midway through the second half at Anfield. 1-0 Liverpool lead, second from bottom West Brom. Here is Grant just outside the Liverpool penalty area to Diangana. Conor Gallagher to the right-hand side to Darnell Furlong. Forward to Matt Phillips. Nice curve on the run from Callum Robinson to stay onside. Now he's crossing. Dean Ganna hits it on the volley and hits it wide. Well, that's a little tester for Liverpool. Little reminder that West Brom might have a surprise in them. It was poor technique in the end, but they did create the chance.
Yeah, and I can understand why he snatches at it slightly. You know, if he catches that perfectly on the ball with his left foot, it could fly into the top corner. But he actually had time there to take that down and take a little bit of a touch. He was in the penalty box, so they couldn't really have tackled him. So maybe the wrong decision there. But you're right, getting up the right-hand side time and again, getting a few crosses in, a few throw-ins as well. They're not exactly swamping Liverpool, but you know, there's not a lot in it at the moment.
Liverpool have won all of their home games in the Premier League this season. They are on the attack here. Henderson's delivery. Robertson arriving at the back post. Referee's blown his whistle. There's been a foul on Darnell Furlong and a free kick to West Brom. Mentioned Liverpool with their 100% home record in the Premier League. Not only is that the only team of the Premier League who've won all their home matches this season, they're the only team in the top 4 English divisions and the top 5 European leagues to win all their home games this season. But just the 1-goal lead here against West Brom with just over 20 minutes to play at Anfield.
I'd be intrigued to see if, you know, Sam Allardyce, you know, when he will make a decision to make a substitution or two. You know, obviously one or two players might tire a little bit and he'll want some fresh legs, but if he's at any pace at all that he can bring on, particularly up front, it would make a massive difference in this last little period of the game.
When Liverpool beat Tottenham their last home game less than 2 weeks ago, they did so without making any substitutions. And I see this as near the Kop, there's an Allez Gerard Houllier banner is being put up in memory of the former Liverpool coach who passed away recently. You have to go back to Gerard Houlier's final game in charge of Liverpool for the previous time that Liverpool had a league game without making a single substitution. 16 years.
Wow. You'd almost think that was impossible. That's unthinkable in a modern game. Although I was getting some stick earlier on about, you know, I can't say the phrase, you know, the game's gone, it's got soft, because I've got a heater.
For listeners who were with us in the first half, I now have Pat Nevin's heater, and I may not be giving it back. It is that good. It is an absolute game changer. I'm one of them now. Mane attacking down the left-hand side for Liverpool, tries to get it into the penalty area. West Brom hold it up, weight of bodies. Firmino will take it on, charges back into the box. Darnell Furlong tackles him and clears away. Liverpool trying to build up the momentum and tempo they had in the first half. They haven't been quite as fluid in this second period, and once again Sam Allardyce has drilled these defensive measures into his team, and they are doggedly defending and holding their shape on the edge of the penalty area time and time again as Liverpool come forward. Into the final 20 minutes, Mo Salah drops deep, which is always a sign that he's not quite getting enough of the ball up in attack when he comes back level with Jordan Henderson just inside the West Brom half. Plays a little 1-2 with Alexander-Arnold, back into Henderson. Salah wants to get involved once more, calls for the ball and receives it from his captain. Here comes a left-footed cross into the penalty area. Good leap by Darnell Furlong, wins the header against Sadio Mane, and now Romain Sawyer's over the top. This is a test for Rhys Williams' pace. Oh, he's been beaten to it by Karlan Grant. Grant is it, shoots and target, saved by Alisson. Really good save. West Brom's best chance of the game. Rhys Williams was exposed there, and West Brom very nearly capitalised.
Right when he came on, the question I asked, is he going to be quick enough? That was the first question I asked, just purely with the standard of this league. You've got to be fast, and he didn't seem quick enough there, the youngster, did he?
Oh, Karlan Grant, it wasn't easy, but he got the shot in. Alisson made a good save. He tried to put it low to the side of the goalkeeper, and as Alisson is so good at doing, when he comes out to narrow the angle, he keeps his body spread eagle, and he managed to deflect it away. But Rhys Williams was relieved to see the flash of green of the goalkeeper's shirt coming out towards him, because he'd been left behind by Karlan Grant there.
Yeah, and he had a yard start as well, and he got done, didn't he? And again, it's one of those things, you know, you're cold, you've just come on, and you know, trying to get to the pace of the game as well. And there is no doubt at all that, you know, Sam will look at that and think, look, we need to find out if there's a weakness there. Football's evil that way and nasty that way. If it's a kid, you don't care. That's the weakness. You will push it as much as you possibly can, and I think that's what Sam's going to try and do.
Right, here is a change for the visitors. Mateus Pereira, who is just back from suspension, sent off against Crystal Palace 3 weeks ago, his first red card in English football. He will come on in place of Callum Robinson.
I mean, if you I think you were questioning me at the start of the game whether he should have started the game. I think he's a much better player to bring on in this league because gaps open up. He's not, the all-action player, but if you give any space at all, he has got the quality to go and find those spaces and actually play players in.
Yeah, I've been impressed with what I've seen of Mateus Pereira this season. He was their Player of the Year last season. Here is Ajayi into the penalty area for West Brom. Tries to cross after getting to the byline. Mane attractive all the way. And the last touch comes off the Senegalese international. And that will be a corner to West Brom. Corner at the Anfield Road end. Far side of the pitch from us. The right-hand side has West Bromwich Albion come forward. And they might as well send the bodies up here. Liverpool have brought everyone back to defend it. 1-0. Liverpool lead at Anfield. Here comes the delivery from the far side. Too close to the goalkeeper. That's a waste as it's played straight to Alisson.
It's a real shame that because you don't get that many opportunities, and I don't think there's many things that will anger Sam Allardyce more than wasting a set piece. Do not put it absolutely anywhere except straight into the goalkeeper's gloves. Put a little bit of pressure on them with a near post one. I think that's what he was trying to do. Overcooked it there from the right hand side.
Do West Brom with a late equaliser in them here. They've not scored many late goals at all this season. They've only once in the Premier League this campaign scored after the 50th minute. West Brom, Carlin Grant scored against Brighton. That was in the 83rd minute, but all their other goals this season have come earlier than the 50th. I'm emphasising the word all. They haven't scored that many, but each of the goals they have scored have come before the 50th minute, apart from that one goal against Brighton. But it would be quite the turn-up for the books if Sam Allardyce's side were to nick an equaliser here, and I think we'd all have to reassess our comments in the first half. We're saying, what an ugly style of play it was, how effective it would prove to be if West Brom can take something from the game.
No, there's always a caveat there. The caveat was always there, because it can work. It's unlikely, it's a long shot. Had he kept on playing that 6-4 series, I think it wouldn't work. They'd probably be behind 2 or 3 by now because they'd have got tired and the players would have got fed up with it. However, he's changed it a little bit now and it's had a really good effect on all the players. So, still in the game and now beginning to get the odd chance. And I'm not saying on the break, because it's almost 50-50 this second half.
They are visibly growing in confidence, the West Brom players. Liverpool, who have been far and away the top scoring team in the Premier League this season, they have only found the net once so far in this match. Salah, though, breaks in from the touchline on the right wing, plays a 1-2 with Roberto Firmino. Good challenge by Shimi Ajayi to clear the ball away. Henderson lobs it back into the penalty area. It'll spill out for Robertson on the far side. There are 3 red jerseys waiting in the middle. Mane has it in a crossing position on the left wing, gives it deep to Henderson outside the box. He'll swing it to the near side to Alexander-Arnold. First time volley back across the box was overcooked, sailed over all of his teammates, and West Brom were able to clear it away to Carlin Grant, who holds it up well, and Romain Sawyers plays the ball in front of Diangana that he originally didn't get onto, but he's done well to hold on to possession, and West Brom still have it. Played forward by Kieran Gibbs, who's got a really good record actually against Liverpool over the years. He's won 3 times at Anfield in the past, former Arsenal player of course. I think he's only ever lost once to Liverpool, Kieran Gibbs. Here is Jordan Henderson, midway inside the West Brom half. Gallagher looks to have fouled him. Referee waited a moment to see if there was an advantage. There wasn't, and it's going to come back for a Liverpool free kick midway inside the West Bromwich Albion half. Still 1-0 to Liverpool on 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. Pat Nevin.
I mean, how many times have you been to Anfield and if Liverpool have to increase the pressure in the last 10-15 minutes, particularly going down towards the top end, they can do it, and you just get the feeling it may well start now because, as I say, it's been 50-50 this second half. They've not created that many good opportunities. They've not actually had anywhere near as much of the ball as well. But you can just see a little increase in the pace they're trying to put in. Salah's getting more involved in the game just now. And again, I wonder if Jurgen Klopp will think a little bit of an injection of pace would help as well.
Quarter of an hour or so to play. Free kick to Liverpool. Alexander-Arnold's giving it every look. It would be some strike to score from here, though. The wall is set up about 3 yards outside the penalty area, just to give you an idea of how far it is. Mind you, he looks very determined. Robertson, the left-footed option. Alexander-Arnold, the right-footed option, goes for the top corner, and it sails over the top. Warm applause from the Kop, but it was off target from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Still 1-0 to Liverpool.
We'll see if this is a positive change that West Brom are going to make just now, because it's made perfect sense the way he's changed it up till now. He's known the players that are going to get a little bit tired, and he's known when he needs a lot. I mean, I'm not surprised it's a striker they're going to take off, because the one player in the second half is trying to really work his socks off is him, and he's managed to do that now.
So Charlie Austin comes on in place of Carlin Grant. Grant with that one chance denied by Allison. He tried to put it through the goalkeeper's legs. I think it was a decent effort from Carlin Grant. But now
Drama on BBC One.
This is an unusual place, and we should expect unusual things.
An order of British nuns attempts to set up a school in a remote Himalayan palace.
I know I can make a success of the new convent.
Shouldn't have come here, you know. It's an impossible place for a nunnery.
Unaware of its dark past.
I don't know what's happening to me. This place makes you see.
Black Narcissus.
The devil is in you, sister.
Starts tonight at 9 on BBC One and iPlayer.
You're listening to 5 Live Premier League Sunday. We have we had lost Connor and Pat, but we have got them back. Liverpool, West Brom, 78 minutes on the clock. Liverpool with a 1-0 lead. Still to come, Wolves, Spurs. But let's get this conclusion of the match at Anfield with Pat and Connor.
Liverpool throw in down the right-hand side. We've just over 10 minutes to play, and we wouldn't have thought this in the early stages of the match, but this isn't over yet. Liverpool leading by the 1-0.
What a great touch there by Diangana. You're absolutely right. I mean, you've got Mo Salah going in at the pace he's going in at there. They just got in behind him. A toe poked it right off of his toe. Very important touch at that moment.
Liverpool take the throw towards Salah, who doesn't control it, and it goes out for a goal kick to the visitors, West Brom.
I mean, considering most of the results have went very well for Liverpool this weekend, haven't they? It felt as if it's been a good weekend for them. But it'd be a terrible weekend, they'd feel, if they didn't get the full points out of this one, because of the complete control they had in the first half. But you just get the feeling someone's going to get a good chance between now and the end of the game. I mean, it's likely to be Liverpool, but it's no certainty.
Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is the next player being prepared to come on.
By the way, can I mention the fact that I think Sawyers has been absolutely brilliant today. I mean, all the best players in the park, you've got to say he's up there amongst the players that are in red just now, because he's hardly done a thing wrong. He's covered every blade of grass, as they say, but he has been intelligent in his play as well. Yeah,
there's actually quite a lot of Jordan Henderson about him, Romain Sawyers. Excellent passing, hard working, and he's been a very important part of what has been, you look at it now as a whole, and absolutely it was extremely negative in the first half, but Sam Allardyce, I think, will feel satisfied. As a mistake at the back here. Reece Williams is scrambling. Liverpool are going to concede a corner, and there was very little danger there. Curtis Jones didn't help out his fellow teenager, and between the two of them, they've been forced to put it out for a corner. Another corner to West Brom on the far side.
It's getting very ragged in that defence. Very ragged. I mean, mistakes. You can see it's a little bit of a panic that's actually going through that defence. They know they should have had this game wrapped up just now, but there's been all sorts of strange mistakes in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, Liverpool are not seeing this out in the manner that you would expect of champions, as Pereira's cross is played in, and a header hits the post, and it's in! It's Shemi Ajayi! They've got the equaliser! West Bromwich Albion, who played the rope-a-dope in the first half, they took the punches. They've suddenly counter-punched back. It went in off the woodwork. It's an equaliser with 8.5 minutes to play. And is Liverpool's long run of victories at home going to come to an end here? There's a smile on the face of Jurgen Klopp. He can't believe it. Ajayi equalises for West Brom.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not saying they deserve it completely, but in the second half, it's so much better. Is it offside? This is the question mark. It's still looking at it. Now, the referee's considering it at the moment. Ball's played in from the right-hand side. I have a horrible feeling for West Brom. It might be offside. It's really, really tight. Two players are offside without a doubt, but it's whether Ajayi is actually offside. I'm looking at the referee, and he looks as if he's just about to give it.
VAR waiting to put the seal of approval on, but I think this goal is going to stand.
It is.
Fireman Sam is in the house. He's spraying the hose. He's putting out the flames. West Bromwich Albion are hoping that this new vigour he will bring to the team, new thoughts, new ideas, new structure. Can help, and what better than coming from behind at Anfield to level things up at 1-1 to show that Sam Allardyce is improving things for his new team.
Not extraordinary. I mean, I wonder how much was by luck or by design. You know, the design in the first half, you know, it really wasn't working. They were getting absolutely destroyed. But you know what? If it's not working, change it. He did change it in the second half, didn't he? From the first seconds, we said, no, he's left somebody up this time. And it's totally changed his attitude.
But he will go crazy, Jurgen Klopp, with that, because you'll remember the reason they had the corner in the first place was a mess up between Curtis Jones and Rhys Williams. Jones is the player who's been taken off, isn't he, to bring on Alexander Oxlade-Chamberlain. But those two, I'm sure that'll be analysed in the video by Jurgen Klopp later on. Corner to Liverpool on the far side, played into a busy penalty area. Matt Phillips heads it away. Oxlade-Chamberlain has a shot, full on the volley from outside the D, and it balloons well wide of the target and into the supporters in the Kop behind that goal that Liverpool are attacking. Liverpool 1-1. Never in your life, Pat Nevin, would you have thought that West Brom were coming back into this. But we said it. If they do, we'll all say Sam Allardyce is a genius. Well, so is he.
No, I just think he's an exceptional manager. But I don't expect much of him before the end of January, because it's going to be so hard to get, you know, this group of players working the way he wants to. However, he's adapted them in this second half. They've changed their attitude brilliantly. And, you know, yeah, well done, Sam. You can't say it's anything other than really good. Even if they're going to lose this game just now, the fact that they've given themselves a right good opportunity here, and you know that feeling, he wants to go and win it now, doesn't he? Yeah. He's leaving a couple up front there. The players are getting a little bit excitable, a little bit carried away. They want to go forward. There is a danger in that, of course. They could get broken on.
6 minutes to play, 1-1 at Anfield. There is a reason that clubs turn to Sam Allardyce time and time again. If you've got a club that are scrambling in the relegation zone, if no one else can help, and if you can find him, maybe you can hire Sam Allardyce. I mean, he time and time he does, and there's a reason he does, because we're looking at it here. Yeah. He gets teams to grind out results.
Yeah, I mean, it's structured, it's organised, all that sort of stuff, but in an ugly way in the first half. In the second half, it's not been ugly. It's actually been really quite impressive, and you know, he's known where the slight weaknesses are. He's played on them, and then the moment, you know, you get a young centre back on, what they're doing, they're putting it in exactly the right areas to put a little bit of pressure on them. And because that started happening, other players around them started getting jittery in that back line.
And Pat, you absolutely nailed it in the first half, in my opinion, when you said they're not, even though they're sitting so deep, they are not wasting energy here in West Brom. And that rope-a-dope effect of take the punches and survive and then have the energy laid on is what has worked really well for them. Yeah, they've been on their toes in the second half.
They have, and they don't look as if they're exhausted out there. But I mean, you say that. I mean, it's high stakes. I mean, you could be 3-4-0 down. You've got to get lucky as well.
Here is Oxlade-Chamberlain trying to turn into a shooting position. Shot blocked by his former Arsenal teammate, Kieran Gibbs. Oxlade-Chamberlain, who came on as a substitute in that 7-0 win against Palace, his first Premier League appearance of the season. On here very late as Liverpool try to take the lead for a second time in the game. Remember, they've a 100% record here at home in the league this season. Is this to be the first game this campaign that Liverpool will not win in the league at Anfield? Alexander-Arnold throws it back behind him to young Rhys Williams. I wonder how much of a turning point that was in the game when Matip was forced off and Rhys Williams was on, and Williams involved in the giving away the corner from which immediately afterwards West Brom scored.
Henderson, Matip will be the man that'll be marking as well.
Correct. Here is Henderson, crossing position on the right-hand side, smuggles it back to Alexander-Arnold. That's a good delivery. Oh, it's just too high. Sails over Mane. Robertson will pick it up on the left wing for Liverpool, who are really going for it now. Kitchen sink laid on. 3.5 minutes to play at Anfield. 1-1 on 5 Live on the World Service of the BBC. Mane goes down inside the box. He wants a penalty. Referee was very close to it. He says no.
And that's very poor. He just goes and throws himself to the ground. Right, leans into the back and then throws himself to the ground. There's absolutely nothing in that. Referee spotted it a mile away.
6 of the last 9 meetings, we said the stat before, have ended in a draw. Are West Brom about to do it to Liverpool again? Deny them victory here at Anfield. What a good result this would be for Everton, who moved up to within 2 points of Liverpool last night. It could be that by the end of today, Everton would be within 3 points of the top of the table, having played the same number of games as Liverpool. Here is Alexander Oxlade-Chamberlain down the right-hand side. He gives it in, and Salah can't control on the edge of the penalty area in West Brom. They're back into their deep formation now. It's back to the 10 in a line across the edge of the penalty area. 1-1 will do very nicely for Sam Allardyce now.
Yeah, but again, they know the organisation. They know exactly what they need to do. What they'd love to get is a little bit of respite sometime in the next 2 or 3 minutes and get the ball down and hold it a little bit. It's going to be hard for them, though.
Right, this is where Salah will be looked upon to produce the magic.
Oh, well played, Sawyers again.
Romain Sawyers, who's almost been N'Golo Kante at times in front of the back 5 or 6 depending on what it is at any one time for West Brom. Here he is again, floating one at the top, must be offside against Pereira. Referee glances to the assistant, keeps the flag down. That is the protocol these days, of course. And then a poor ball which was nowhere near Charlie Austin. Yeah, I knew the flag was going to come up eventually there. It's the new interpretation of the rules. The officials are told don't put up your flag until the ball goes dead. That's what they were doing there. Had it ended up in the back of the net, it wouldn't have stood.
Do you know what, though? He shouldn't have touched it because the player behind him was onside, and his own teammate was onside before that.
Yes, good spot. Very good spot as down goes Oxlade-Chamberlain on the edge of the penalty area at the other end.
Where's Ajayi going?
Here comes Ajayi, who's already scored 1 goal. Here he is, cantering down the right wing, sends in a cross, and it's too close to Alisson. Charlie Austin was unmarked in the middle. The game has become very ragged now, very stretched. Liverpool searching for a second goal to win the game. West Brom delighted that they've got it back to 1-1. Here's Sadio Mane, who has scored for Liverpool earlier on in the match, attacking the West Brom penalty area. Trent Alexander-Arnold on the right-hand side. Oxlade-Chamberlain floats it in, header! Oh, it's just wide! Roberto Firmino denied, a fingertip by the goalkeeper to claw it out for a corner. What a save that was from Sam Johnson.
That's a world-class save. That's fantastic. If you get a chance to see that in Match of the Day too, make sure you do. That's brilliant. I'm sure it was going right into the corner. I was convinced that was in there, and he's just got down. The ball's bounced in front of him. That is miraculously good save.
Superb save. That is one of the best headers I've seen in a long time. The cross is floated in. Firmino puts power on it. It's heading for the bottom corner. Miraculously, Sam Johnson is able to keep it out. Here comes the corner for Liverpool, and it's headed away off target by Reece Williams, the youngster looking for his first ever Premier League goal, but he can't direct that on target, and we've only 20 seconds remaining of normal time here. 1-1 for now. Who saw this coming?
Well, the weird thing is, like, how many times have you watched Liverpool, even against Spurs a little while ago there, they score the goal in the last minute and you're not even slightly surprised, and that was the moment you expected it to happen, but it hasn't happened, and now they've just got 4 minutes to survive, West Bromwich Albion.
4 minutes to go. Branislav Ivanovic is going to be brought on, an extra layer of defensive insulation. The former Chelsea defender, good record against Liverpool in his Chelsea days, scored 3 goals against Liverpool in a Chelsea shirt, 2 of them in the Champions League in 2009, and he will come on here in place of Conor Gallagher, who's put in a lot of hard yards. He's ran up and down the middle of that engine room in the midfield. So a midfielder off and a defender on, and Sam Allardyce wants no late drama now in stoppage time.
Well, he wants no late drama, but if they manage to get a corner kick, Ivanovic will be up there looking to score.
He will. Second oldest outfield player in the Premier League this season after Wes Morgan. Branislav Ivanovic will be 37 in February, and he has come on now, some experience. Can West Brom hold on? We are 2 minutes into the 4 that were being added for stoppages. Alexander-Arnold has possession for Liverpool on the right-hand side. 11 men back behind the ball for West Brom. Henderson plays it in. Out comes Sam Johnson. What a game he's had here. And he falls on the ball, and he'll eat a few more seconds into the clock here. And West Brom are almost there towards a very valuable point.
Do you know the weird thing is, you wouldn't argue against West Brom now? There was so much effort put in the second half. The way they've done it so cleverly in the second half, and you know, the goalkeeper's been put under pressure a couple of times, particularly that great save he made just a few minutes in the 89th minute. But they've been worthy of this in the second half, without doubt.
The goal from Ajayi, a header in off the post, and you'll see this tonight on Match of the Day too. It's one of those headers where it hits the post, it comes back spinning, it actually bounces outside the goal line and then spins into the net. Remarkable goal, the first header that West Brom have scored in the Premier League this season. They were the only team before today that hadn't scored a header this season in the top flight. Fabinho to Robertson. Can Liverpool, as champions so often do, come up with a late winner here? Cross into the penalty area, headed away by Phillips. Another header away by Charlie Austin, the striker who's come on, and he's playing it right back here. It's all hands on deck for West Brom. Mane down the left-hand side. We've now played 3.5 minutes of the 4 to be added on. Careless ball in by Robertson, poor by his standards, and that goes out for a goal kick, and Sam Johnson is going to kill time here. He runs over a ball that he could have taken to go right into the corner flag, and these are all the old tricks, and Salah just takes that ball and puts it in the 6-yard box and says, come on, you're clearly wasting time, as Sam Allardyce down below us has a glance at his watch, having been beaten by local rivals Aston Villa in his opening game in charge. This is very much the start of the Big Sam era at West Brom tonight, if they could hold on for this 1-1 draw.
What a lift it'll give him, what a lift it'll give all the players as well. They'll start believing this guy is the new Messiah. He can get us points at Anfield. It'll be extraordinary, and it looks like they're going to get it, because in this second half you kept on expecting Liverpool to get up the gears and go through the gears and create a load of chances, and it has not quite happened yet. But is there a few seconds? Is there one chance left for Liverpool?
Here is Oxlade-Chamberlain down the right-hand side. His cross is blocked by Matt Phillips. It's a corner to Liverpool. They'll all be up for this one now. Apart from Alisson, the goalkeeper, all of Liverpool's outfield players are up in the final third now. Corner to be taken by Alexander-Arnold. We have played almost 5 minutes. There was only supposed to be 4 added on. Played short to Oxlade-Chamberlain, plays it off Diangana, and it goes out, and there won't be time for the second corner. And West Brom have come from behind at Anfield to earn an unlikely point. Jurgen Klopp is frustrated. It's the first Premier League game this season at home here that Liverpool have not won. They had a lead. They weren't able to hold on to it. They had so many chances tonight. But West Brom, Pat Nevin, will now have renewed belief, because if they can come from behind at Anfield against Liverpool, they can come from behind anywhere. And any game from now on they do fall behind, they'll remember this evening, and this belief could see them stay up this season.
Yeah, and you get a lift sometimes from a new coach anyway, but the fact that he said in the second half, wait a minute, we're a wee bit better than this. We can go for this. I believe in you, lads. If they'd have done it the other way around, been a little bit too open in the first half, they could have been out of sight, Liverpool, because they played so well in that first half. It's kind of worked for them, but you did not see it. Nobody that I know saw that. We talked, loads of us talked here at half time there, socially distanced of course, and nobody at all saw that it was going to happen, because it was a 6-4-0 formation. It just looked completely ridiculous. But second half, immediately changed it, one man up front, and said to him, let's have a little bit of a go. And they did have a little bit of a go. There were some very, very good displays in the second half from West Brom, and the shocking thing, which you would never say in a million years at half time, is they kind of deserved it. Yep. They absolutely deserved that point at the end of the game because of what they did in the second half. Well done, Sam, and I'll be the first to say it in his new time here, I'll beat you.
Yeah. Shemi Ajayi, who got 5 goals last season in the Championship. That's his first in the Premier League this season. It denies Jurgen Klopp a 100th win at Anfield as Liverpool boss. But Sam Allardyce has done it again. Red Adair is in. He's on his crane. He's got his fire hose. He's putting out the flames. And this is what they brought him in to do. He's going to sleep well tonight. Big Sam will have a big glass of red wine, because this was a very impressive point for his team.
Joe has got in touch on 85058 and 5 Live Sport Premier League Sunday. Appalling second half from Liverpool. Big Sam effect was never in doubt. I've always said that he's a tactical genius, honest. Lawrence, everyone was slating Sam Allardyce for his negative football plan, but West Brom managed to get a point from this game. It's a master plan from Big Sam. And David, fair play to West Brom. They've been very good in the second half, trying to play a little bit of ball rather than sitting back. And you both said in commentary, if West Brom get anything out of this, we're going to be saying he's a genius and it was a masterclass. But Pat, they played the long game. They refused to chase it when they went behind, and it had been threatening before they scored.
Yeah, they had. They got in some very, very good positions and actually looked a little bit more dangerous than Liverpool at long periods of that second half. And, you know, it's one of those things where you have to be honest about the first half. It was awful. It was 84% possession for Liverpool, but it wasn't just that. It was the fact that they didn't leave anyone up front. So when you cleared the ball, it was just coming straight back. It wasn't they were being pushed back, they were sitting that far back. So that was a tactical decision that was definitely made. However, in the second half, he did adapt that. The thing about Sam, I mean, people say all the sort of things, and there was a lot of things texted in at